any quantity in person or online at maxsprintshop.com. Since 1978, we pride ourselves on personally meeting every customer's need. We can take your project from design to production. And remember, Max's Print Shop will stitch anything. And we mean anything in the Utica, Rome area. Find us at 9555 River Road in Marcy or online at maxsprintshop.com.
For the past 25 years, the Good News Center has been committed to building relationships. Better relationships for marriage, better family relationships, and a better relationship with God while promoting self-change. Hi, this is Judy Hauk, Executive Director at the Good News Center. Our programs are designed to support you at your most challenging times. Whether it is marriage difficulties, addiction issues, suffering the loss of a loved one, or caring for someone close, we can offer you support. Or strengthen your faith journey by attending one of our spiritual renewal programs, such as a Bible study or Theology Uncorked. Our support programs are available in person or via Zoom. They are mentored by peers, cost nothing, and are confidential. For more information about all of our programs, visit us at thegoodnewscenter.org or call us at 315-735-6210. The Good News Center, building relationships for over 25 years.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
It's time to start the program. It's time to earn our pay. It's time to meet the people on the Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, good morning. It's 6:19, and it is Tuesday morning, and a big day is on the way. We have a bunch to get through today. And how about the? I hate to always start off with weather, but it seems to be the first thing on my mind. How about the cool down we're going to get? There's snow in the forecast, a little light snow, maybe some wet snow in the forecast for today and for tomorrow, and then Manaski, the warm up. Like my forecast this morning updated to 84 on Friday.
Yes, so did mine. Yeah, yeah, it's nice, right?
So funny.
Yeah, we get to, and it's funny because I think one day, maybe it was last night's low was supposed to be 39. I know we were back into the 30s, but yeah, the highs were in the mid 40s. So we're 45 today, 45 tomorrow. Mid-60s Thursday, mid-80s Friday.
Well,
and then probably 4 feet of snow by Sunday.
Probably, yeah. I think it cools off into the low 60s, upper 50s, low 60s after that. But man, will we all just take it, right?
Yeah, I mean, at this time of year, that still feels good, right? Mid-60s. I mean, it's not August. I'll take mid-60s.
Yes, yeah, I completely agree. All right, let's get to what. First of all, the Mets playing late last night, but I wanted to open up with a sports story. So from weather to sports, and did you see what happened? Not at the Mets game. But did you see what happened? DeGrom throwing a no-hitter through 4 innings and left injured.
No.
Yeah, look it up. It's unbelievable. I mean, it is exactly everything that we've discussed, right? About every Mets fan has been so frustrated with. The greatest pitcher in baseball can't seem to get out of the 4th inning.
Yeah.
And injuries that take him out of the lineup. He has elbow pain, and they pulled him from the game in the middle of a no-hitter in the 4th inning.
DeGrom is 1-0 with a 3.48 ERA so far this season. This story says it was a wrist.
Maybe it was a wrist. I don't know.
Right wrist soreness is what he had. Yeah, I'm watching the highlights here. He's striking them out left and right.
Killing it. Like the greatest pitcher you've ever seen on the mound. And then
for 4 innings.
And then he can't get out of that 4th inning. So, does that make you and by the way, the Mets big winners last night over the Dodgers in a shootout. What I say last night, this morning by the time that game ended.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we talked about with DeGrom, right? It's all of what we talked about.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. He's out there. You feel great until you feel like, oh, no, what are we going to do now?
What do we do now?
And I missed because the game starts so darn late. I've been trying to get to bed early, so I missed last night. I was certainly happy to see the Mets got a win. Vogelbach went deep. And you're right. It was a back-and-forth game all night long. My goodness.
I don't know if you felt this yesterday, but there was an earthquake up in the North Country.
At what time?
I don't know. It would have been morning hours.
Okay.
I can tell you it was the exact time would have been 5:30 in the morning yesterday.
No, I did not feel that.
And it was an earthquake that hit right about near Watertown, as a matter of fact.
Any significant damage?
I don't believe so. I don't see what they call it. You know how they rank them. Well, that was a 3.2 on the Richter scale, but I don't see that here. Either way, the question is, did you feel any of the earthquake, which would have shaken us just gently, but it certainly shook the people up there in the North Country.
No,
you did not.
No.
New York State Legislature has passed another extension. What do you think? Will this ever get done?
Yeah, at some point it will, but I almost think this is certainly a knock. Even the Democrats may be intentionally doing this because they have issues with Kathy Hochul. I mean, we're pushing 3 weeks late here.
Well, I will say that going back during Cuomo, there were some times where it went deep. In fact, once how late it was, I think it was into May or June. They were talking about how if the budget didn't get done at some point during the summer, that it would that it would screw up school districts because they wouldn't be receiving the state aid that they were supposed to receive. So I wonder how late it has been, but I do believe it's been a little closer since the law has become April 1st.
Yes. Well, I think it's been. I'm not sure on that. I'm not sure when they actually enacted it as April 1st, but there have been times when it's gone on and on and on. There doesn't seem to be there's any progress being made on a daily basis on the bail reform issue, affordable housing, and then the other one is the minimum wage, which if inflation is coming down, as we're led to believe, although others say it's going to shoot right back up, then I don't know that minimum wage is an adjustment is necessary. Maybe it is. I don't know.
A couple things that we're going to be dealing with here this morning. Dr. Kent Hall is on the air in the 7 o'clock hour. And we have something pretty cool booked for 7:45 this morning. I'm pretty excited about this. Manansky.
You want me to say it?
Sure.
Mark Lemke will be joining us on the show this morning. I can't wait.
Whitesboro's Mark Lemke, who played for the Atlanta Braves. I have an awesome story about Lemke going back. In my head, it's awesome. His head, it probably won't be. And I can't imagine he'll remember it. But I'm going to run with it this morning when we're talking. So
okay.
Pretty excited about it. Of course, I believe he still has family here in town. And it'll be interesting to see his take, to get his take on the changes in Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah, he said, and speaking with him, well, we communicated. I shouldn't say I spoke to him. We communicated several times, but he said, look, I'm not a big guy who likes to talk about himself a lot. You want to talk about baseball, the state of the game today. There's a lot of things we can talk about. I just don't, I don't love going on and talking all about myself.
Yeah.
So certainly there'll be some questions about him. He understands that's why we want to get him on the show, is to talk to him about his career and the fact that he's from the area, and it's an amazing thing. I still remember the picture of him. I think in this photo he was playing second base, but there was a photo of him at Notre Dame in this, glass case, because obviously it was a major feather in the cap, and very proud to have a guy go through your program and ultimately play Major League Baseball. But
so maybe the interview should be, if he doesn't like to talk about himself, we'll do something like, hey, you remember that time you hit the home run? It was against the Yankees in that thriller there. And that was awesome.
Is that like the SNL skit?
Yeah.
You remember that time?
Remember that one time you were stealing the base and you got all the way in and it looked like you were out, but he dropped the ball? That was awesome. That was incredible.
Well, Chris Farley for you on a Tuesday morning.
There you go. Horrible impression of that, but you know the deal. So that is coming up this morning. We'll have Dr. Kent Hall on also. And if you take a look at today's Observer Dispatch, I believe it's today's concrete version of the OD, is the story where it gets into the lawsuit and the investigative report and all of what's come out of the Utica School District and Bruce Karam. And it is headlines, which basically is Karam's attorneys saying that the investigative report, which claims really bullying, that Bruce Karam was guilty of different things, including bullying. They say that it is it's just a big nothing, basically. And I'll read exactly specifically from the story as soon as I can get to be able to log into the OD. That's always fun. But it references the audio. And we talked about this maybe close to a month ago, that we were sent audio from Bruce Karam. This was audio of Bruce Karam, not from him.
Right.
So, in fact, we don't know who sent it to us, but before we would be able to do anything with it, we wanted to authenticate the audio, right? To make sure it was authentic and it was real. And this is one of three pieces they reference in the OD story. One of three pieces that they reference that is audio in which the current board is saying is an example of the type of harassment and improper work environment that Karam is alleged to have created at the Utica School District. Yeah. There are two administrators that have made charges. But it seems like someone in an administrative meeting must have recorded, taken a pocket recorder or something and recorded the meeting. And the one piece of audio that we have is Karam going off about a former female employee. And so we've spent the last couple of weeks working to authenticate the audio, to find out when it was recorded, how it was recorded, and to make sure that it was real. We've determined that it is 100% real. It's one of the pieces of audio used in the investigative report, and we're going to air that in the 7 o'clock hour this morning.
Yeah, it's it's very surprising to hear somebody talk like this, especially about the people they're talking about. And you're saying this was, see, when I first heard it, I thought maybe this was him kind of mouthing off or venting in his office to somebody, maybe, I don't know who.
Yeah.
But you believe this was during an actual meeting?
Well, we know it was during a meeting. We now know that it happened in the fall of, I believe, October, in the fall of 2021, during a senior administration meeting. And during that meeting, someone was wearing a recorder. And this happened at least, we believe, 3 times, maybe more. But at the very least, there are 3 pieces of audio that we believe are part of the investigative report. But the attorneys for Karam saying this is just nothing. They're, we don't even we haven't been able to even haven't heard enough audio to know what's even going on. I don't know. Our piece of audio is 1:04, and we've spoken to people who were in the room, and it has been deemed 100% authentic, and I do believe, and you tell me this. I think that everything that the taxpayers of Utica have heard about that's been going on in the district, and why is Karam on administrative leave, and who has supported that, who has been against that, and the fact that right now the Utica School District taxpayer is paying for 2 superintendents, an acting superintendent, and they're still paying Bruce Karam. I think in the spirit of transparency, I think that the Utica taxpayers deserve to hear what's in that report.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how long this goes on, right? Because people will hear this audio and draw their own conclusions and say, okay, it's very possible people will say, okay, that's enough. I don't want someone like that leading my district. But at the same time, there is a process that goes into all of this.
There's a major process, and this is the part that I think is referenced somewhat in the story in today's Observer Dispatch, and that is that he's working under a contract. So what does that contract say? What protections are in there for Mr. Karam? What happens if all of what's being said is true? Does he lose a pension? Does he get fired? Does he continue to? Could he be reappointed back as superintendent of schools? A lot is not necessarily about how you feel about what you're going to hear this morning, as much as it is what's in that contract, which either gives the board the ability to take action, which I'm sure in some way it does. But does what came out of that investigative report? Does that meet the standard of being able to let him go and stop paying him? There are a lot of questions with this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then didn't we hear? See, this is one of those things that I believe we heard, but I don't know that was ever corroborated. Wasn't he getting extensions? Like every year, he would get another extension, a 1-year extension on his contract, which basically meant. Allegedly, the language read, I don't remember off the top of my head, that even if there were something to happen, the district basically has to pay him for 5 years. So the fact that he's being paid now, he's going to be paid, I believe, by the terms of that contract for several more years, even if a decision to replace him were to come down today.
Well, again, it all depends on what's in the contract. But what would happen is each year, he had a 5-year deal. So each year, the board would usually half the board, but enough of the majority would vote to extend his contract by 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So he would always have a 5-year contract. However, based on digging in on this, I don't think that's necessarily uncommon for a superintendent of schools. That would allow your superintendent to know where he or she is going to be for the next 5 years, to make planning, and there's a shortage of superintendents in New York State. It's difficult to find a superintendent. So I don't think that's as uncommon as we might think. However, at the time, there was all of this controversy and all these accusations that were being made. And even despite those accusations, that board at the time voted to extend his contract. I think that was really what a lot of the controversy was about. Either way, that'll come in the 7 o'clock hour. The story was put up yesterday on the OD's website, and I believe is in the paper today. And you can see what Karam's attorney has to say about this investigation and the report that has come out of it. You'll be able to hear that audio in the 7 o'clock hour. And I believe, by the way, on that contract, it might have been done every other year. So you're always getting back to a 5-year deal. But I don't think that's uncommon necessarily. Also, we'll do Habakkuk's free money question of the day. Schools will no longer be a soft target. Interesting story from Jeff Manasso of Fox News on what Ohio schools are about to do.
They are essentially telling teachers, if you're licensed to carry, bring it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm completely comfortable with that.
Same here. I think there should be some level of security. Again, I love what our local officials have done with putting the special resource or school resource officer, patrol officer, in the schools as a line of protection. It's unfortunate that we need that, but it's great that we have that. I don't know that. I guess it's better than nothing, but I don't know that the answer is having teachers come to school, having them hash out disagreements about, if there's something going on, what are they supposed to pull the gun?
I mean, look at what just happened in Clinton. And yesterday, Frank Coots, who is the head of security, director of security at Hamilton, talked about a student at Hamilton College who he spoke with. Now, remember, after this happened on Sunday, there was a report of an active shooter on the campus. Everyone had to shelter in place. And this one student said, I know the person who did this, and of course an arrest was made yesterday. The story's up on our website. This one student said, I know the kid who did this, and I feel bad for him. However, I feel bad for me. I feel angry because I spent 3 hours in a closet trying to hide from a potential shooter. When authorities finally came in and I came out of that closet, I had to be frisked and checked by police as if I might be the shooter. He said, I'm angry over that. I think it's very interesting from the perspective of students who were on the campus during the time that this whole thing went down.
Yeah. But why were they sympathetic for the person who allegedly made the prank call?
I don't know the answer to that.
Oh.
Yeah. And but it's also interesting that the person arrested yesterday is from Louisville, Kentucky, where there was just a mass shooting in Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that there's any connection there, but it's interesting that there is at the very least, there's a connection. That's because it's where he lives. Anyway, they made an arrest in this case, but you wonder if everyone had a gun, how do authorities come in when they're ready to take out the gunman? How do we end up in a situation where you know who the good guys are and who the bad guys are? How do authorities know if everybody's got a gun?
Right. Certainly you wouldn't if it was an all-out shootout. I understand. I totally understand your point. But in theory, it wouldn't. I mean, you're not walking into like one of those paintball arenas, right, where everybody's just do. I mean, in theory.
Well, and that's really what happens is the gunman comes in with a semi-automatic or a converted automatic weapon, and they start firing up. And what kind of gun would you have? You certainly aren't going to have the same type of gun that the assailant has. So I don't know if that's the answer. But I agree with you that what we do here, having an armed, basically police officer at every school, I think that's a good first step.
The other thing is, look, if it were to come to that in these particular Ohio schools, it would be a horrible tragedy any way you slice it. I don't think what they're looking to do is actually have the teachers fighting off in a gun battle these horrible people who want to hurt kids. But I do think we hear some talk about this where people say, oh, a gun-free zone? Oh, I know what that means. It means I can go there and do anything because nobody's going to stop me. I think just the messaging, just the word on the street that there are people here who are armed and willing to protect these students, I think they hope is enough of a deterrent to get them to go to either the next district, the next state, whatever.
Well, and in our case, right, there's an armed officer.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah. Some other news: home burglars in Milwaukee not only snatched thousands of dollars worth of tools, but also unwittingly grabbed a security camera that was still transmitting from their kitchen a week later. Talk about morons. The home's real estate broker and the local police have access to the footage. Here is realtor Erica Winship of Premier Point Realty talking about exactly what went down. As of right now, there have been no arrests in the burglary, but police have a ton of video. Here we go. Apparently, we don't.
They took around $8,000 in tools. They also took a camera, which was hidden, which they did not know that would operate pretty much anywhere. So it's operating on their dining table right now. We can see everything. We're seeing people doing drugs. We're seeing people talk about how they sold the stuff, where the money went.
I find this hard to understand, though, that they don't know where it is. They have all this video, but they don't know where it is.
It almost sounds like it's just it sends a live feed, but it doesn't have a GPS. So all they know is it's just on a living room table or a kitchen table.
Yeah.
But they don't know
where the table is, in what house.
Right.
Yeah.
I think this is hilarious. Now, at some point, somebody's going to blurt out a name or some information.
Right, there's going to be something. Which is why I'm wondering, why would you go public unless maybe they're at the point where they kind of know?
You know what I'm wondering, though? There was all this talk years ago about, there's a recorder in the microwave if you got it from China.
Yeah.
And on. I'm wondering if this device, it sounds like they made this device themselves, right? Like, how is it that it doesn't have a GPS, but it does have a live camera in it? I'd like to know more about the particular item that was stolen. If this is something like the husband rigged up as a prank or as a security camera in their own kitchen.
Well, remember, your camera, take a Ring camera, for instance.
Yeah.
The Ring camera doesn't have GPS. It has ability to sync to the web and utilize your own. So it's using, there's a base somewhere.
Sure.
So once that camera leaves the base, then if you don't hook it up, but apparently it's still hooked up. But maybe it just doesn't offer GPS. I don't get it.
I have more questions on this device, but I do think this is a really cool story.
Philadelphia, and this is another cool story where you just feel good about it. A Philadelphia pizza delivery man is getting praise after he tripped a suspected car thief that was running from the cops. At the point police were able to apprehend the suspect, Tyler Morrell was delivering a pizza, and he saw the guy running from the cops, and he thought, I'm just going to stick my leg out and trip this guy. And it's exactly what he did. Here he is talking about it.
I honestly feel like I did what anybody else would do. I stuck my leg out and caught a pretty nasty bruise on it, but it is what it is. I'll survive. We were high-fiving, honestly. We were celebrating together a little bit, but I felt good about it, and I think they were happy to have an extra hand or foot to help them out.
Okay, well, there you go.
And then he walked up to the door, delivered the pizza, and they said, you forgot the wings. Ruined his whole night.
What are you doing?
Ruined his whole night.
It ruined everything. Coming up, we'll speak with Ryan Schmelz from Fox News. Yesterday, Jim Jordan taking aim at Alvin Bragg in New York City. We'll talk about that, which went down yesterday. Coming up. 6:43 on Tuesday morning, tax day on WIBX.
Power Sports in Utica is holding its grand opening event on the 28th and 29th of April. We have over 350 vehicles in stock and incoming for you to see. Come celebrate with us at the store over great food, drink, and entertainment. We can't wait to see you there. It's our Power Sports of Utica grand opening, April 28th and 29th, with over 150 new and used Harley-Davidsons in our pool. 0% down, 3.99 APR on select Harleys. Grand opening discounts on boots, helmets, shirts, and apparel.
Spring has sprung. It's the Strong Spas Factory Store Spring Sale all month long. Sangertown Square. Blowout prices on floor models and factory recertified spas. Clearing out the floor to make room for more. Immediate delivery. It's a spring super sale at Strong Spas. Visit the largest spa showroom in the country. Huge savings. Price to move. See for yourself. Find them in Sangertown Square and ask about their financing options for credit qualified buyers. Get in your spa at Strong Spas. Hurry, these spas won't last.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply and the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at HNHMedicalNY.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
Easy Cater presents We've Got Your Back, Up Singers.
Backing you up
So I ordered Mexican for my team at work.
with vegetarian options for Jerry.
Then I'm in a meeting and I remember Jerry's vegan.
Love the cheese.
So I text Easy Cater and they reply, no prob, we got this.
Gonna fix it for ya.
Sometimes I get vegetarian and vegan confused. Kind of like Austria and Australia.
Geography is not just strong suit.
Dietary needs? Easy Cater has your back with over 100,000 restaurants. Order 24/7 on EasyCater.com and know.
We got your back.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Syracuse University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Syracuse University's partnership with the IBEW will provide talented students the opportunity to advance their careers while shaping the future of the electrical trades and the industries they serve.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, Davey, did you get your taxes done? You all good to go? I didn't hear you. Did you talk?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
you did. How much you getting back? Are you making a lot of money? You don't have to tell me.
That.
Huh?
I'm not saying that.
You're not. Just a little bit of money?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm just
cool.
in a bad mood today.
Oh, no. What happened?
I got hacked overnight on Messenger on Facebook, and I wake up and I get all these messages from people, and I don't know what, and I really don't know what to do. Do I have to change my password now?
Yeah, you're going to have to. I'm going to tell you something, Davey. I was up till very late last night.
Yeah, so was I.
And I was going to call you because I got a Facebook message from you that said, this is a great lesson for all of us.
Yep.
I got a Facebook message that said, did you see who died? I know this is someone you know. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
And then there was an emoji that had like tears coming out of your eyes.
And then a link.
And I almost went to click on the link, and I didn't click on it. So I went around and started searching the local sites, ours, others, to see if there was some car accident that someone who died in the car accident I knew, and I couldn't find anything. And then in the middle of the whole thing, Davey, I just fell asleep. So I never clicked on the link. But if you click on that link, you're letting the people into your Facebook page.
So I'm just curious. If I clicked on the link on my laptop, for instance, would it jeopardize my? It would jeopardize my
Your
laptop.
account.
I'd imagine.
Your phone, your laptop.
My phone would be also. Oh
well,
my gosh.
your Facebook page, your Facebook account would be
in jeopardy.
Let's ask the college kid. Do you agree with me on this? Is that true?
I'm not entirely sure on how it all works, but I know like you'd probably lose your whole Facebook, or like they'll take over it. I mean, if you still have access to it, I think that's good. You should be able to change your password.
To change the password, but once they're in, it's kind of difficult.
Now, what do you advise Davey? Because obviously he's been hacked.
Burn the computer and the phone. Burn it immediately.
So let me ask you.
Okay.
I do most of my Facebook on my phone when I have it here with me every day. But I tried changing the password on my phone, but do I have to go onto my home computer and change my password? Because that's where I originated my Facebook before I actually got my phone.
Did you change the password on your phone or on your Facebook account?
I'm trying to change it on my Facebook account so I can put a new Facebook account.
Well, once you change your password,
do I have to do that on the computer or do it on my phone?
Once you change your Facebook password, that'll be your new password.
Okay.
Whether you get on your phone or you get on your computer, that'll be your new password. But yeah.
He doesn't need a new Facebook account.
I don't think so. Listen,
Right?
One time, I'm going to tell you something. One time, I kind of knew this was wrong, and I kind of knew my mother had been hacked when she started sending me porn. And my mother's 78.
Dead
it's not,
giveaway.
It's not something I'm like, I don't think she sent me that. I don't think so. But it took us a good 2 or 3 days, honest to God. And, meanwhile, all of her friends on Facebook, everybody is reaching out to her like, I don't think you sent me, you meant to send me this. I mean, it was pretty bad. So I think that we just changed her password and everything seemed to work out.
Okay.
But I've also known where people got it so badly that they ended up losing their account and having to start all over again.
Well, I also know in some situations.
Did you click on his link?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I actually just opened it just now. I just saw what he sent. He mentioned it to me when I came in this morning. If you see a messenger from me on Messenger, please don't.
You could do that, too. You could message everybody right now, Davey, and say, I've been hacked.
I have been.
Yeah, don't click on
But
But-
I have no mojo. I'm peed off about
Yeah,
this.
yeah, it's,
and I'm peed off about another situation. But
Oh,
that's okay.
really? Well, you might as well tell us about it.
Nope.
Oh, well, you brought it up, buddy.
Yeah, Davey.
Nope, it's nothing. I don't want to discuss it. so.
Listen, no one listens.
Yes, people listen. To
No?
It's just us three.
Yes, no. I'm serious. If I mention something about personal life, it gets back to me. It gets back to my mom. I'm not bringing up my personal life anymore. So.
Okay.
All right. Well, you kind of did bring it up. I mean, we didn't bring it up.
I'm not saying it's a certain somebody, but just people in general that we know.
I'm thinking the longer you go, we're going to know exactly what. We're going to know the whole story.
I'm sorry. I'm like this, but I'm. Just,
I know.
No, it's
I know
okay,
You
Smitty.
lost your mojo, and I feel terrible about that.
So
she got you that angry, huh?
So
yeah.
Let me just say this. I know in some cases people, there's the whole you get a bogus message from somebody and it includes a link, but there's also an element of like I've had people reach out and quote friend request me that it uses your photo, it might use your name, but it says you've only been on Facebook for 4 days.
That is a key. I think they're getting better. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I always will look for if somebody, because we get a lot of requests, those friend requests. So I always look to see who are their friends, how many people, and also, by the way, if they are, well, usually if they're male or female, but especially if they're female, if they're really hot, don't click on it.
Yeah, she didn't want to be your friend.
Nope. She doesn't know you. She doesn't want to know you. And she certainly wouldn't use that Teddy photo that she has there as her feature photo. Don't click on that. The other thing you can look at is see if somebody's Facebook has been infected to see how many their account is loaded up with all these. Look at their friends.
Oh, yeah, right.
And you start seeing a whole bunch of hot people, and it doesn't match the person that you're. That's a good sign that you're dipping into water that might be a little tainted.
Yes.
Anyway, what are you going to do? Let's go to Ryan Schmelz, who is a Facebook expert, by the way. Good morning, Ryan, from Fox News. Good morning.
I might be a little bit of a Facebook expert. I'm not sure. I've been scammed before by those fake accounts myself. So, yeah, be careful, people.
Davey is in the middle of the someone died scam. And so all of the people in his Facebook received a message. I know this is someone that you were close with. Here's the story. So the minute you click on that, you're kind of opening the door to let everybody in.
Don't click.
Don't click.
Don't click.
Don't click. Okay, Ryan Schmelz from Fox News. Republicans and Jim Jordan taking aim at the DA in New York City. What do we know about this? Happened yesterday.
Right, yeah. So Jim Jordan brought the Judiciary Committee with him to New York. And unlike last time when the Judiciary went down to the border, you actually saw a significant number of Democrats join in for this hearing, too. So Republicans focused on, making the argument that Alvin Bragg is weaponizing his office in order to prosecute former President Trump, but also that his policies have not been pro-victim and instead have been pro-crime and have made the city less safe. Whereas Democrats kind of used the opportunity to say that this is a political stunt, but also to talk about gun violence and really make a pitch for gun control. So you certainly saw both sides utilizing their time here.
Interesting. This whole case in New York has been very, I don't want to say confusing, but there's been a lot of mixed messaging coming out. In one breath, you'll hear a pundit talk about the fact that this, there's nothing there. But then you'll hear another pundit saying, there could be something there. We really won't know until this whole thing plays out, will we?
No, and that's the thing. You kind of have to let the legal process play out here. We just don't. The timeline might be a little bit interesting, just because somebody who's running for president, and some of this might significantly cut into election time. So I think that's just kind of where what makes this such a unique case and unlike anything we've seen before.
Yeah, I also think that if you're a Trump supporter, the fact that this has happened actually does. I think it strengthens Trump.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've certainly seen him fundraise off it. His fundraising numbers have been through the roof ever since this indictment went down, and this is kind of, in some ways, creating something like what we saw in 2016, where he just dominated the news cycle so much that it was hard for other candidates to really get any attention. And ultimately, former President Trump won that election in 2016 and won the nomination. But the question for this one is, what does this do for either, Republicans who might not be the biggest fans of Trump? What does it do for Democrats who might be considering voting Republican because they're sour on Joe Biden? And what does it do for independents? Will they cross over in the general? Some pundits out there might believe that this is going to hurt him there, but help him in the primary.
I don't want to misspeak, but I believe when we spoke with John Zogby last week, he said basically this story kind of increases his standing with Republicans as a percentage, but hurts him with Democrats and independents.
Yeah.
I don't know how many Democrats were going to vote Trump, but it's smaller now than it was before.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, Ryan, thank you. Thank you for the report, and thank you for your advice on Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks so much. Ryan Schmelz from Fox News. I do have some advice here from an expert. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You know that Greeley Ford has always been my go-to person because Greeley used to be with AT&T. And the reason I'm with AT&T is because of Greeley Ford. He says this someone, Davey, listen to this. This someone died or is this you scam has been running on Facebook Messenger forever. It's why I never click on any link from anybody on Messenger. The reason I don't click on any link from Messenger is because Greeley Ford told me don't click on any link from Messenger. It may be, hey, watch this video. It's hilarious.
Right.
I'll look at the link and then try to search and find something. If it's real, it's usually out there.
Yeah.
If it's clickbait, it probably isn't, and you didn't need to see it anyway. But Facebook can restrict anything it wants. Why can't they end this immediately? Yeah, you can say something on Facebook, and the algorithm will pick it up, and boom, your post has been squelched. Why can't they do it? Every one is read. It's written exactly the same. Why can't Facebook take care of it? And Greeley says, thank you, Greeley, by the way. And it comes from someone else clicking on it and spamming their contacts, and that's how it spreads, and so on and so on.
And he's absolutely right. If it's put on their platform, I'm no expert on this, but they have to know when they see that link, the computer has to know what that translates to or where it takes you. And I don't know why they can't have I don't know what term I want to use here, but basically almost like a fencing area where anything that falls into this bucket just removes itself from that platform.
And maybe that would mean that, if a good way to tell is if you have a friend telling you about another friend who died, wouldn't they say, hey, did you see Bob so-and-so just died last night? The story's, on IBX's website. Here's a link if you want it. Well, you could then, that would be pretty legitimate, right? Although all of these scammers are getting better and better.
Not to mention, look. I'm not saying not everybody on my Facebook page is like a good friend, and I walk up to them when I see them out in public, and I shake their hand, and hey, how you been, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But Bill or Davey, even the intern, if I knew somebody close to you who had passed away, I'd call you or text you or something. I wouldn't send it to you on Facebook Messenger. Hey, by the way, your mom died. Just thought you'd like to know. I wouldn't. It's so informal and impersonal.
I think it just kind of seems a little odd to begin with, and you just kind of not click on those. But you want to know, right? You're feeling like you really want to know.
Now, we need to know what he needs to do. He's got to report this to Facebook, I believe, right? Have you done that yet?
You should report that you should report it as spam or whatever.
Or that you've been hacked.
Yeah.
You need to let Facebook know that you're not doing this.
You got to change your Facebook password.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Okay, Davey, get that mojo back, man. Got a break. WIBX Utica Rome. It is 7 o'clock.
A jailed American journalist goes to court in Russia. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, appealing his detention, denying he's a spy.
Wearing a blue checked shirt and jeans, Evan Gershkovich looked calm inside a glass-fronted cage. Also in the room, U.S. Ambassador to Russia, Lynn Tracy. Gershkovich, his employer, the Wall Street Journal, and the United States all vehemently deny Russia's charge that the journalist was doubling up as an American spy.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Gershkovich faces up to 20 years in prison, and as he was in court, Russia's Russia's leader is in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin again visited areas his forces have taken over, meeting troops at command posts in Kherson and Luhansk. The U.S. is helping arm Ukraine to fend off the Russian invasion, and Secretary of State Antony Blinken is also trying to stop a war that's broken out in Sudan, calling for a 24-hour ceasefire.
We had an American diplomatic convoy that was fired on. All of our people are safe and unharmed. But this action was reckless.
China is accused of even more meddling in the U.S., operating an illegal police outpost in New York City to harass and intimidate Chinese dissidents. 2 agents have been arrested.
An official with the Chinese National Police directed one of the defendants, a U.S. citizen who worked at the secret police station, to help locate a pro-democracy activist of Chinese descent living in California.
U.S. Attorney Breon Peace. House Republicans will hold another hearing into COVID's origins. Former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe will testify he believes the virus leaked out of a Chinese lab. 8 police officers will not be charged in Ohio in the shooting death of a black man last year in Akron. A grand jury voted not to indict them. State Attorney General Dave Yost says Jalen Walker shot at police during a chase, and body cam shows they thought he reached for a gun.
And turned toward the officers while raising his hand. Only then did the officers fire.
America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Maxwell, he was scratching and losing some hair. My vet, she says, oh, he must be allergic to chicken. Another vet said, he's the grain. Third vet said, it's the weather. Then somebody said, DINOVITE.com. It took 2 weeks, and the dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out. The Dinovite is a big part of Maxwell's diet.
You get some Dinovite, how happy your dog will be. DINOVITE.com.
All right, mostly cloudy skies, 39 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. State police have made an arrest in connection with a shooting threat that was made involving the Hamilton College campus. Troopers say a student at the school, 20-year-old Peter Howard III of Louisville, Kentucky, posted an anonymous message on social media that named a specific location that would be targeted by a gunman. The threat led to a lockdown on campus Sunday night that lasted nearly 3 hours. Howard was taken into custody yesterday. No weapons were found in his dorm room. Meanwhile, Schenectady police say an arrest has been made with a bomb threat in connection with a bomb threat at Mount Pleasant Middle School. The only information released about the suspect is that he's a juvenile, or that the student is a juvenile and is now facing felony charges. The bomb threat happened yesterday and led to students being redirected to other schools while police and K-9 units searched the middle school for explosives. Nothing was found. Anyone with information on the case is asked to contact police. The Senate Judiciary Committee voting to approve the nomination of Governor Kathy Hochul's pick to become the next Chief Judge of the State Court of Appeals. That means a vote on Judge Rowan Wilson will take place on the full Senate floor soon. Wilson testified for about 3 hours yesterday during a confirmation hearing. He's now one step closer to becoming the first African American to lead the state's court system. Governor Hochul's previous nominee, Judge Hector LaSalle, was rejected. Unclear whether it was some kind of a dare or a prank, but police were called to the Utica Zoo around midnight after a group of young men hopped a security fence and gained access to the zoo grounds. The zoo's security cameras caught the group jumping a fence around 11:55 Sunday night. Arriving officers would find them trying to hide near a fenced area. One tried to run off but was quickly apprehended. Police say all 5 were taken into custody. All 5 are from Syracuse and ranged in age between 18 and 20. They've been charged with third-degree criminal trespass, which is a misdemeanor under New York state law. And a big feather in the cap for the city of Utica, as it has been announced that the International Ice Hockey Federation Women's Championship will be held at the Utica Memorial Auditorium, the Adirondack Bank Center at the Utica Memorial Auditorium, and at the Nexus Center. The official announcement followed the completion of this year's event, which wrapped up Sunday with the United States national team defeating Canada in the gold medal game. The 2024 IIHF Women's Championship, tentatively slated for April 4th through the 14th. It'll bring the event back to New York State for the first time in about 30 years. It was last held in Lake Placid in 1994. It's also been held in Burlington, Vermont, and in Plymouth, Michigan. The 170,000-square-foot Utica University Nexus Center is projected to host upwards of 50 sports tournaments each year, including hockey and lacrosse events. All told, it is expected to draw more than 300,000 spectators and athletes annually, with a projected economic impact of $26 million or more each year. Here's your forecast from Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint.
From Eyewitness News, Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center today. Passing rain showers, blustery, chilly, a few graupel showers and wet snow showers over higher elevations, a high of 48. Tonight, lingering rain and wet snow showers, a cold April night, a low near 32. And tomorrow, mainly morning snow showers and flurries quickly fade as clouds decrease. Blustery, chilly, a high near 50. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Mostly cloudy and 39. WIBX News time is 7:07. All right, in sports, the Mets pulled out their 5th straight victory. They beat the Dodgers last night in the series opener, a final of 8-6. David Peterson earned his first victory of the season, striking out 6, allowing 6 runs over 6 innings. Daniel Vogelbach hit his first home run of the season, a 2-run shot in the second inning. He would drive in 3 runs total in the game. The Mets now 11-6. They'll continue their 3-game series against the Dodgers tonight. The Yankees were off Monday. They look to extend their winning streak when they continue a 10-game homestand this evening. The Pinstripes have won back-to-back games, entering tonight's series opener against the L.A. Angels. That series beginning at Yankee Stadium. Clark Schmidt expected to make his 4th start of the season for the Yankees. The Giants are beginning their offseason program without a couple of key pieces. Running back Saquon Barkley and defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence, both not reporting for Phase 1 of the voluntary portion of the offseason program. Barkley is unhappy about being stuck with the $10 million franchise tag and will not sign that deal anytime soon. Lawrence is also looking for a new contract. The 25-year-old is on the 5th-year option of his rookie contract. NBA playoffs last night, the Sixers held home court with a 96-84 win over the Brooklyn Nets. Tyrese Maxey led all scorers with 33 points to help the Sixers go up 2-0 in that best-of-7 first-round series. The series will shift back to Brooklyn on Thursday night when the Nets host Game 3. The Knicks look to take a commanding 2-0 series lead on the road in Cleveland tonight. They're likely to be without a member of their backcourt, though. Josh Hart is listed as doubtful after suffering a sprained ankle during Game 1. Head coach Tom Thibodeau said Hart participated in parts of practice, and we'll see how he feels before making a final decision. Hockey playoffs, the Islanders now trail 1-0 in their best-of-7 series. They lost 2-1 to the Carolina Hurricanes. Devils and Rangers open their series tonight, Game 1 coming from New Jersey. Elsewhere in the sports world, Patrick Mahomes still recovering from a high ankle sprain that he suffered during last season's run to the Super Bowl. The 2-time Super Bowl champion said that there will still be a little bit of limitation going forward in the next couple of weeks as he works to return for the start of spring of training camp. Mahomes relayed that swelling in the ankle has gone down, but he would not call himself 100% at this point. The Utica Comets play the Laval Rocket in their playoff opener on Wednesday night. They'll come back to host a game at the Adirondack Bank Center on Friday, and if necessary, on Saturday night as well. And I know I'm forgetting something here. Smitty, the Auburn kid. Is this a big deal? Syracuse lands another recruit. Former Auburn guard Chance Westry has committed to play for the Orange next season.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about it, but it's a good move for Syracuse. They need players.
Oh, certainly.
They need players. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. Davey, I just want you to know I can't play too much of this because YouTube will ding us, but you need to listen to this song for a while. I mean, this will get you going. I got my mojo going.
Is that the name of the song?
Yeah. And I can't get anywhere, no. I got my mojo going. I don't know. there's any singing in this song or not, for God's sakes, but that's what the song is. It's all about your mojo, Davey. You got to get it going. All right? Okay?
Yes, Bill.
All right, thank you. All right, listen, this hour, we have a lot to do this hour. Pretty intense. Dr. Kent Hall from MVHS will speak with him. Also, Hobica's free money question of the day. Mark Lemke, who played with the Atlanta Braves, a Notre Dame grad from Whitesboro. Mark Lemke is on the radio this hour. Pretty excited about that. And the Observer-Dispatch is running a story today where the attorneys of Bruce Karam, superintendent of schools at Utica, are saying basically this report that came out, it has holes in it. It just is it's not everything it's made out to be. And it questions a lot of the things that are in the report and questions things based on Karam's contract with the district. One of the references they make in there is an audio recording. There are 3 of them. One of those recordings was delivered to us about a month ago. It took us some time to verify the authenticity of that recording. And when it was recorded, we traced it back to October of 2021. And it is one of the recordings that is being used as evidence in the investigation that was done by an investigator, by the way, I should mention, that Bruce Karam actually appointed before he was put on administrative leave. So, do we run the audio or do we not? We made the decision to run the audio, and this is in the spirit of transparency, newsworthiness, and I think as a public service to the taxpayers in Utica who are currently paying for 2 superintendents, not 1. 2, because there's an acting superintendent, and Karam is still being paid. I do think the taxpayers deserve to know everything that's in that report, right?
So, and the other thing, too, that strikes me...
Which is why we'll play the audio in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, you'll want to hear this audio. I'm still shocked by it. But, look, it's one thing to have a certain opinion about something or someone, but to be talking like this at a meeting, if this had gone on for some period of time, I'm surprised he's been at the helm as long as he has. I mean, this is...
At the very least, it's audio you wouldn't expect to be hearing out of the person who's running one of the most diverse school districts in all of upstate New York.
Right.
We'll get into it coming up. Dr. Hall is coming up first, though. 7:13 at WIBX.
Cliff's Local Market is proud to be your convenience store that keeps you going. We are locally owned and operated by Clifford Fuel, and we're proud to offer local products like Utica coffee with fresh brewed dark Adirondack, along with a seasonal flavor. At Cliff's, you can find Dippin' Donuts, sauce from It's a Utica Thing, and cheeses from River Rat and Grassy Cow. Cliff's Local Market has your favorite pizza made fresh all day with dough from Utica, made to order subs, wraps, and salads, and other healthy local choices. Cliff's Local Market, we keep you going.
It's the biggest savings of the year for your pool and spa chemicals. It's Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas annual chemical sale. We make it easy. Go to tuckerbackyard.com or stop by our new location and save 15%. Yes, the new location is open at 8086 Seneca Turnpike. Our new and much larger facility gives us the ability to serve you better. Come visit us now till the end of April during our annual chemical sale with 15% off all chemicals in stock. Or shop us online at tuckerbackyard.com. Considering a new pool, we got you covered. From above ground to in-ground and fiberglass pools. Come see our pools and spas on full display at our new location, 8086 Seneca Turnpike, Clinton, 1 mile west of the Big Apple Plaza. Online at tuckerbackyard.com. Keep listening for our grand opening celebration coming soon. It's the biggest savings of the year. Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas annual chemical sale. Go to tuckerbackyard.com or stop by our new location and save 15%. The new location is open at 8086 Seneca Turnpike. We bring the fun to your backyard.
There's no glory in getting beat up on the job. Aches and pains aren't trophies. They're just barriers keeping pros like you from getting work done. But Ferris commercial mowers at Clinton Tractor help you finish strong and feel good doing it with patented suspension technology. Visit Clinton Tractor today for a test drive and feel the Ferris difference. Or go to clintontractor.net. Ferris, work hard, feel good.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy?
You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Spring has sprung. It's the Strong Spas Factory Store Spring Sale all month long. Sangertown Square. Blowout prices on floor models and factory recertified spas. Clearing out the floor to make room for more. Immediate delivery. It's a spring super sale at Strong Spas. Visit the largest spa showroom in the country. Huge savings. Price to move. See for yourself. Find them in Sangertown Square and ask about their financing options for credit qualified buyers. Get in your spa at Strong Spas. Hurry, these spas won't last.
Is your prostate secretly being destroyed without you knowing it? All the ads for these prostate pills like Super Beta Prostate, Saw Palmetto, ProstaStream, Prostagenics, and others, want to know which pills work and which are garbage? Now you can. Get a free copy of the new guide, Prostate Secrets, that pulls back the curtain on the prostate pill industry. Learn what is really in these pills. Which pill has over 987 adverse event reports filed against it with the FDA? It's shocking. Learn the one food to avoid that is a prostate killer, and discover the 3 so-called health foods that destroy your prostate. Get your free copy at prostatesecrets.com. That's prostatesecrets.com. This free guide will show you how to end your prostate problems without drugs or surgery, 5 important things to do to protect your prostate, and much more. Warning, this guide is controversial and may be offensive to some readers as it pulls no punches. So go to prostatesecrets.com, prostatesecrets.com. That's prostatesecrets.com.
Hey, listen, right now at Steve Ponte Mazda, the Move to Mazda sales event is back. And Ricky Z is ready. Now, with a couple of things here. Number one, when you're looking and driving down the road, we are seeing a lot of Mazdas. Mazda's here, Mazda's there, Mazda's everywhere. And Rick says this is no coincidence. It's because it's a hot brand right now, and a lot of people are buying the Mazda. There are CX-30s, CX-5s, CX-50s. Right now, with 0.9% APR financing up to 36 months on all new 2023 Mazdas. And if you've been noticing a lot more on the road, it is not a coincidence. And Rick says, come in and become a part of the revolution. And let's make a deal on a new Mazda for you. It's the Move to Mazda sales event from the dealership that's achieved first place out of all the Mazda dealerships in America. First place nationally in customer satisfaction. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, good morning. Still to come here in this hour, we're going to get to the audio. This is audio from a meeting there was a hidden microphone, if you will. And it was audio that was used as part of the investigation into Bruce Karam. And we've decided in the interest of transparency and newsworthiness that we are going to air that audio coming up in a few minutes. Also, Mark Lemke, formerly with the Atlanta Braves, formerly with the former with Notre Dame Jugglers, right?
Yes.
He was from Whitesboro and played for Utica, Notre Dame. We're going to speak with Mark Lemke coming up about baseball in just a little bit. Right now on the line is Dr. Kent Hall from MVHS. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Well, it's going to be a little cold for 2 days, but then we warm back up into the 80s of all things by Friday.
Yeah, we're in a little bit of the yo-yo weather now.
It is. Although, I think it's relevant to talk about this. You keep seeing these stories of things that used to be in the South, whether it be, there was a story recently about somebody who had a cut on their leg, and this may have been in California, where they jumped into a pond and all of a sudden came out, and this person passed away with flesh-eating bacteria, and it ultimately killed the person. But I do wonder if the warmer temperatures, which we are experiencing, I wonder if it allows for some of these things that would normally be in the warmer waters of the South to make their way to the North.
Yeah, so climate change really has, we really have started to see, from a medical standpoint, changes and migrations of different diseases that, tended to be in different types of climates, and they're moving to other areas, other geographic areas as the climate there changes. Lyme disease, I think, is a perfect example. Lyme disease was very localized in just a few areas, and now it's widespread. And that's kind of the poster child for it. But there are so many others that are doing the same thing, and not just for human diseases, but you think about those that affect plants, whether it's trees or flowers or whatever. You think about diseases that affect bees, which are very important for pollinating plants. So it really is something that we need to be aware of as part of the climate shift.
Doc, I need you to clarify something. I had a conversation with my mother about this, and my mom's always right. Sometimes she's mistaken. She was making the comment that with the yo-yoing weather, that I better put a jacket on, otherwise I was going to get sick. Is there any truth, or is that an old wives' tale, that when the weather goes up and down, especially the fluctuations we're seeing where it's 39 now, it was 85 last Friday, it's going to be 85 this Friday, is there any truth to that, in that more people get sick, or there's something that happens along the way there that can make you get sick?
So it's not. And I will preface this by saying that my mother told me the same thing, and that it is not the change in weather per se, but it is the change in our behavior related to the weather. So, wearing a jacket or not wearing a jacket, I mean, you don't want to get hypothermia, certainly, but it really does not have a significant impact on your immune system. However, being outdoors and kind of enjoying things and then coming back indoors because it's cold, and so you're around more people for a short period of time, and this back and forth, does expose you to viruses and other respiratory diseases. So there is some truth to the changing weather. We do see kind of peaks and valleys, kind of peaks and valleys as it relates to transmission of respiratory diseases, but it's not the weather itself that caused it. It's really our behavior related to the weather.
Okay. I have another one for you, and Bill, don't get mad at me because this is the first you're hearing of it.
Okay.
But there is reason for this. So,
don't tell me you have scabies.
No,
Okay,
and
good.
I don't have COVID, and I did not have COVID.
Okay.
But following our Easter Sunday dinner, we have somebody who comes to all the dinners, and she's amazing. My mother's aunt is 99 years old. So following Easter dinner, and she struggles to get up and down the stairs, but she's a champion. It's just amazing. I'll stop going off about my aunt, but she's just incredible.
Yeah.
After dinner Tuesday, her daughter, who takes care of her, called my mother and said, "Hey, Mom's not feeling well.
Oh no.
We're going to take her." And she went and got tested, and she tested positive for COVID-19. And
Wow.
the only time she's out of the house is to come to family events.
Yeah.
So my mother tested, my brother tested, I tested, everybody tested. There were a couple of people at dinner who ended up testing positive for COVID. I was not one of them. Her daughter, who lives with her and cares for her, tested negative for COVID. Maybe that's a faulty test. But we got good news yesterday that Aunt Bunny was again walking on her own. She was telling my mother, "I feel the strength coming back. I feel great. She's going to be all right." I guess my question is,
can you hold on a second? I'm feeling my throat is a little sore. I'm just kidding. It's all in my head.
Our immediate panic was, "Oh my God, she's 99."
Yeah.
Is
she vaccinated?
Yeah, she's vaccinated.
Okay.
She's not going to make it. And I hate to say it that way, but that was the first thing that ran through everybody's mind. She's feeling better. She's up walking around on her own again. What do you make of the fact that so many people sitting so close around a table, and even her daughter who lives with her, were negative, yet she was positive? I assume she got it from one of us. She never leaves the house other than to come over for dinner. What do you make of that, Doc?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm really glad that she's feeling better, and
Thank
I
you.
can certainly understand the concern when you have somebody who's 99 years old and comes down with COVID, because that's the demographic that we really get most concerned about.
Sure.
It sounds like she's in pretty good health otherwise, which
Yes.
is really something that is helpful for her, and then also the fact that she was vaccinated, I'm sure helped. So the variants that are currently circulating, are much more transmissible. So they transmit much more, but they don't cause as severe disease, which is good, obviously. What I would say about, somebody being sick and then the person who is sitting next to them at dinner, not getting sick and testing negative, that there are so many factors related to that. How much virus was actually spread, how susceptible you are to it, how strong your immune system is, what your overall health is. So there are so many specific factors that when we talk about, the chances of getting COVID, it's really chances. It's really probability, and so for any one individual, you can't translate that to they definitely will get it or they definitely will be protected. It is really more of, in a population of 100 people, we expect that in this set of circumstances, 60% or 70%, whatever the number would be, are going to test positive. But which of those 100 people end up being the 70? We're not that good at that yet.
Yeah. So it also made me wonder, Doc, you know how initially when we were dealing with COVID, we were talking about the antibodies in the blood and what could be done with that as far as sharing it with other people to protect them. And I just wondered, it made me think of my aunt who takes care of her, that she must have some level of absolute immunity to this. I believe she's been infected with COVID before, but I was just so shocked that she kept failing. She kept testing negative on the COVID test. So is there a way to extract whatever that is and share it with everybody and I don't know, almost come up with a new type of a vaccine for COVID?
Yeah, so, relatively early on, we actually used as therapy, antibodies against COVID from people who had been infected. First of all, we extracted them from the people and made sure that, that they were, appropriately appropriate for being used in other patients. And then, through the miracle of technology, they actually developed the antibodies in the lab, so we were not dependent on getting them from other people. What I will say to that is that in general, they did seem to help early on. However, with the number of variants that are going around now, and the ability and the fact that the antibodies tend to be fairly specifically directed, that it may very well be that you could get it and it didn't really help as much going forward, which is why that is a therapy that basically is no longer used because it really doesn't afford the benefit that it used to.
I want to switch gears. We're talking to Dr. Kent Hall from MVHS, and just if we could talk about the latest on melanoma, another advance in the fight against cancer, and a vaccine for melanoma. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so melanoma is one of those diseases, one of the cancers that does have specific immune markers on it, and so it is relatively more susceptible to treatment with or to stimulating your own immune system to fight the melanoma. And there are now good reports out of this vaccine being very highly effective. I would say that they're still early, so it's still relatively small trials. Obviously, it needs to be done in bigger trials, and I will be honest with you, I don't know enough about the specifics, whether you need to have certain markers on the melanoma that can be tested for before they would say that this type of treatment would be most beneficial for you. But those are the types of studies that are being done in cancer across the board. Melanoma is a very bad type of cancer to have because it spreads very quickly. You don't even know that you've got it, and it can already be spreading. So I really think that this is a real positive move forward in a treatment of what can be a very devastating disease.
Doc, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you. We'll talk again next week.
Thanks, everybody. Please have a great day. Please be safe.
All right. Thank you. Coming up, we'll do Hobica's free money question of the day. After that, I have the audio that we talked about with the superintendent of schools, Bruce Karam. It's a part of that investigation. We'll dig into that coming up in just a moment and play the audio for you. And then Mark Lemke, who played with the Atlanta Braves from Whitesboro, went to school at Notre Dame, is on the radio with us coming up in a few minutes. Here in 2023, if you're thinking about even considering selling your home, consider River Hills Properties to list your home. Nobody sells homes like River Hills. They provide every prospective buyer with the book. What is the book? 40 to 100 pages filled with details about the home and the property and the improvements that have been made over the years, the warranties that are there. It's really the manual for the home. And then there is the lockbox, something they don't use at River Hills. And what does that mean? That means that your listing agent will always be there every time your house is shown. No one's going to walk through your home without the listing agent, your listing agent who knows your property, being there, keep an eye on things, making sure the lights are on, making sure everything's tidied up and ready to show, and you're always putting your best foot forward. And the fact that your listing agent is with you from start to finish, from the very beginning all the way till the sale of the home and the closing. That's the River Hills Properties way. It's all the extra things they do for you, the seller. Why wouldn't you list with River Hills? In Barneville, Little Falls, and Utica, offices, and, of course, serving all of upstate New York, it's riverhillspropertiesllc.com, online. Call 315-896-1009. As we say, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties. Davey, let's do the free money question here this morning. Chance for somebody to win $100 plus more, including the Utica Food and Fun card from Mohawk Valley Garden. That includes a $25 gift card. And there are 2 weeks left for Fat Cats Comedy Club before they enter the summer season off. Some great comedians coming in. A table for 6 could be yours. Pick this weekend or next weekend. Davey, to play the contest, we're looking for caller number what?
7.
7th caller. Through the lines right now at 315-736-0186. Be caller 7 next. Take a shot at $100 in cash from WIBX.
Easy Cater presents We've Got Your Back. Up Singers.
Backing you up.
So I ordered Mexican for my team at work.
With vegetarian options for Jerry.
Then I'm in a meeting and I remember Jerry's vegan.
Love the cheese.
So I text Easy Cater and they reply, no prob, we got this.
Gonna fix it for ya.
Sometimes I get vegetarian and vegan confused. Kind of like Austria and Australia.
Geography is not just strong suit.
Dietary needs? Easy Cater has your back with over 100,000 restaurants. Order 24/7 on easycater.com and know.
We got your back.
From Lincoln Center Theater that brought you The King and I and South Pacific comes a sumptuous new revival of the most perfect musical of all time, My Fair Lady. The New York Times calls it thrilling, glorious, and better than it ever was. Don't miss the smashing, jubilant Lincoln Center Theater production of My Fair Lady.
Broadway Utica presents My Fair Lady, May 1st and 2nd at the Stanley Theater. For tickets, visit BroadwayUtica.org or call 315-724-4000.
Discover the difference that comes from a financial partner committed to building better tomorrows. I'm Jim McGuire with Baird Private Wealth Management in Utica. As a provider of trusted financial services in Utica, Baird is committed to making the future brighter for you and for our community. That's why we support local organizations like the Women's Fund of Herkimer and Oneida counties and the Capitol Theater in Rome, because we care about Utica. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdUtica.com.
We have mostly cloudy skies, 39 degrees, WIBX News Time, 7:34. This news update is brought to you by My Carl's. Shop My Carl's today for the lowest prices, no credit needed financing, and fast same-day delivery in the New Hartford Shopping Center and Destiny USA. Dominion Voting Systems defamation lawsuit against Fox News is set for trial this morning in Delaware's Superior Court. The $1.6 billion lawsuit alleges Fox News knowingly spread misinformation about the company's voting machines after the 2020 election. Fox News argues that the allegations they reported are protected under the First Amendment. The White House says President Joe Biden has spoken with a black teenager who was shot last week when he rang the wrong doorbell. This happened in Missouri. In their conversation, Biden wished 16-year-old Ralph Yarl a speedy recovery. Prosecutors announced Monday that a white man in his 80s will face 2 felony charges, including first-degree assault. An appeals court has upheld former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin's conviction for George Floyd's murder. Chauvin claimed he was unable to get a fair trial due to media coverage and the threat of protests. The Minnesota Court of Appeals on Monday rejected that argument, upholding his 22-year prison sentence. The bulk of TV and film writers are getting closer to walking off the job. On Monday, members of the Writers Guild of America authorized a strike. That means the union leadership can call a strike if ongoing negotiations with big Hollywood studios fall apart. Writers want better compensation for streaming shows. 2 NBA teams took 2-game leads in their first-round NBA playoff series. The Philadelphia 76ers surged past the Brooklyn Nets 96-84 to take a 2-0 lead. Out west, the Sacramento Kings took down the defending champion Golden State Warriors 114-106. At the Golden One Center, playoff action continues Tuesday night with the Boston Celtics hosting the Atlanta Hawks, the Knicks visiting the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Phoenix Suns playing host to the LA Clippers. A Colorado Rockies fan facing charges of assault and disorderly conduct after tackling the team's mascot at a game last week. Kenneth Sonley turned himself in on Friday and was cited and released by Denver police. Police had been looking for Sonley since he allegedly stepped onto the top of one of the dugouts and tackled the mascot a week ago. No word on how seriously that mascot was injured. WIBX News Time is 7:37. Some weird weather we're dealing with as we transition from early spring into a nice warm summer, hopefully. Here's a look at the forecast from Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint.
From Eyewitness News, Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center today. Passing rain showers, blustery chilly, a few graupel showers and wet snow showers over higher elevations, a high of 48. Tonight, lingering rain and wet snow showers, a cold April night, a low near 32. And tomorrow, mainly morning snow showers and flurries quickly fade as clouds decrease. Blustery, chilly, a high near 50. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Cloudy skies, 40 degrees at 7:38.
All right, listen, let's do our free money question from the Hobeika Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobeika, and you can call them at 315-724-1600 for all of your legal needs. Josh in Central Square, ready to take a shot here. Hi, Josh. Good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. We're going to take a shot at winning some money. Listen, we have Major League Baseball's Mark Lemke, who grew up here, coming up in a little bit. So our focus is going to be on local. Here is your question. Boots Day played for the St. Louis Cardinals, Chicago Cubs, and the Montreal Expos. He grew up in what? Mohawk Valley Village. Ready, go.
Refresh and renew your...
Nope, let's try that again. Ready, go.
New Hartford.
That's a good guess. If I would have said Andy Van Slyke grew up in what? Mohawk Valley Village. New Hartford would have been the answer. Boots Day grew up in Ilion. Ilion,
okay.
Down in the valley. Pretty cool. Okay, Josh, we're going to give you from the Adirondack Bank Center and Mohawk Valley Garden. It's the all-in-one food and fun card. It's $25 gift card to Aquavino, Babes, 72 Tavern and Grill, the Tailor and the Cook, and any of the concession stands over the Adirondack Bank Center or Nexus. And we'll also give you a table for 6 at any of the next 2 weekends, upcoming shows at fatcatscomedyclub.com. Go to fatcatscomedyclub.com for details. All right, Josh, thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, stand by, and Davey's going to hook you up. Josh in Central Square listening this morning. Pretty cool. Okay, do we want to just plow forward here?
Sure.
All right, so let's talk about. So the OD has a story today in the physical paper, and it's talking about this investigation into Superintendent of Schools Bruce Karam. And in this story, it is a bit one-sided. It's the attorneys for Karam saying that the investigation is flawed and suspect. In fact, they talk about audio recordings in the story as part of the investigation. One of those audio recordings showed up in an envelope here at the studio about a month ago, and we just did not. We wanted to go through this with caution. First thing we needed to do is authenticate the audio, which we have done. We wanted to know where it came from, what basically time period, and we feel it dates back to the fall of 2021. And we're about to play the audio on that. I've had to beep out some of the expletives, and there's one name that we beeped out as well, a first name that is referenced in there. But for the most part, you're going to hear Bruce Karam speaking. This is in I believe, his office or in the administration office during a senior administrators meeting in the district. During the audio recording, Karam is heard speaking about a former employee. The recording obtained by WIBX is part of a district investigation into claims by another administrator, two of them to be exact, that Karam had created a hostile work environment. The employee he's talking about, there's also some information we can give you about that. It's a former employee. If you recall, there was a pretty horrific murder that occurred in Utica back a few years ago on Boilermaker Sunday.
Right.
And this person, we believe, is the mother of that young lady who was brutally murdered. Listen to the audio. I want to warn you, it's about a minute long, and it's pretty offensive.
Can we just reiterate that? It's believed that he's talking about, can I say the names? Is there any?
Sure.
Bianca Devins was murdered on Boilermaker Sunday. We believe we're talking about her mother here and what her focus should be instead of complaining about the district, that she should have been basically paying more attention to who her daughter was dating. You'll hear it right here, but that's what you're about to hear.
Part of the tough part of listening to this audio.
Correct.
We feel it's newsworthy, which is why we're playing it. Here it is.
It's a piece of fat shit when she worked here, okay? And then we get rid of her. She quit because we were putting the pressure on her. Because she wasn't doing her job.
She left from Central Kitchen, so I'm not sure why.
Well, we moved her there because she was a problem.
Correct.
We had trouble with her, right?
Yes.
And then
she quit. Right?
Yeah,
she quit.
That's exactly what happened.
I think she quit from Central Kitchen.
Okay? Because we were having trouble with her here. Because she wasn't a good employee. She was a fat troublemaker. Isn't she the one whose kid got killed by that crazy guy? Mm-hmm. Oh, they're running around writing emails? Why don't they watch their kids and who they're going out with? Okay? You know why I'm like this? Because she's the one that gets on the internet and writes all the shit what Potter does. Okay? And this is supposed to be a grieving mother. F*** her and f*** her family. How about that? Okay? Now, what were you going to say?
I believe she's referencing Howard Potter there, or he is referencing Howard Potter there. That's the audio. That is the audio that's part of the investigation. That is the audio that the attorney is calling flawed and suspect. Taken out of an administrator's meeting. At this point, you be the judge.
Now, if we could play that one more time, because the audio's not, obviously, it's not like he's speaking into a microphone. There is a recorder in the room. So if you need to hear that again. But I also, it caught my attention, the part about where he says, because we put the pressure on her, right? We put the pressure on her, and then he talks about ultimately she quit. You know, there have been allegations for a while about people in the district saying basically you're on a good side or a bad side, and if you're on the bad side, they will find ways, they being the district, or maybe Bruce Karam in particular, will find ways to make your job less pleasant, make it really unpleasant. So I found that interesting. He said we put the pressure on him.
Let's play it again. And again, this dates back to fall of 2021.
It's a piece of fat shit when she worked here, okay? And then we get rid of her. She quit because we were putting the pressure on her? Because she wasn't doing her job?
She left from Central Kitchen, so I'm not sure why.
Well, we moved her there because she was a problem.
Correct.
We had trouble with her, right?
Yes.
And then
she quit.
Right?
Yeah,
She quit.
that's exactly what happened.
I think she quit from Central Kitchen.
Okay? Because we were having trouble with her here. Because she wasn't a good employee. She was a fat troublemaker. Isn't she the one whose kid got killed by that crazy guy? Oh, they're running around writing emails? Why don't they watch their kids and who they're going out with? Okay? You know why I'm like this? Because she's the one that gets on the internet and writes all the shit what Potter does. Okay? And this is supposed to be a grieving mother. F her and f her family. How about that? Okay? Now, what were you going to say?
All right, there's the audio. The full story will be up on our website at WIBX950.com, and that will include the audio as well. And as we said, if you're a taxpayer in the city of Utica, you be the judge. It's 7:46. Coming up, we'll speak with formerly of Whitesboro, former Notre Dame juggler, baseball player, and legend in these parts, Mark Lemke. Coming up on WIBX.
Refresh and renew your home this spring with Little Falls Lumber. They're fully stocked with secondary grade metal in all colors and 12-foot lengths. An affordable option for fixing utility sheds, roofs, or garages. Looking for lumber and tired of the warped pieces from the big box stores? Then go to Little Falls Lumber, where they stock only premium grade lumber. Stop in to one of their 3 convenient locations: Little Falls, Syracuse, and Schenectady. Little Falls Lumber, helping you refresh and renew this spring. Call 315-823-2470 or visit littlefallslumber.com.
Power Sports in Utica is holding its grand opening event on the 28th and 29th of April. We have over 350 vehicles in stock and incoming for you to see. Come celebrate with us at the store over great food, drink, and entertainment. We can't wait to see you there.
It's our Power Sports of Utica grand opening, April 28th and 29th, with over 150 new and used Harley-Davidsons in our pool. 0% down, 3.99 APR on select Harleys. Grand opening discounts on boots, helmets, shirts, and apparel.
Countryside Killers, say your prayers. Sister Boniface is back on the case.
What is it, sister? I think we have our motive for murder.
The Cotswolds' brilliant Detective Nunn returns in BritBox's much-loved spin-off of Father Brown.
So he was... electrocuted, yes. How shocking. Oh.
Season 2 of Sister Boniface Mysteries is now streaming exclusively on BritBox.
Most intriguing.
Undeniably British, undeniably brilliant.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password,
for you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated US-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to lifelock.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, it's 7:48, and on the line right now, a local legend. Played for, I believe it was September of 1988. Played his first game for the Atlanta Braves. The one and only Mark Lemke. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, guys.
How you doing, man? I've never been so excited to speak with an former Atlanta Brave before. I have to tell you, as a Mets fan, but really excited. Thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank you. It's great to be on here.
So it's funny because we all followed your career. I'm a Mets fan. Jeff's a Mets fan as well. And, you know, during those days, that was quite the rivalry. It still is quite the rivalry between the Braves and the Mets. But we still found ways to pull for you when we were playing for the Braves.
Yeah, that's not no problem there. I appreciate that. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of Mets fans up in the north to be expected. And yeah, that was a great rivalry, and they're still going at it right now.
Yeah, they
It's
are.
going to be, I think, a tight race going down the whole way. Braves are looking good right now. Mets have won 5 in a row, so we'll have to see.
You're staying right on top of it. I mean, even as late as 1:30 in the morning they were playing last night to get that 5th straight win. You are right on top of it. So,
Yeah.
you still watch a lot of baseball, and I want to ask what you think of the rule changes that we're in the midst of.
I don't watch a lot of it. I'll just, now with the internet, you can get it all the time. You get bombarded at times with some of the news.
Sure.
But, I was working up until a couple of years doing the pregame show for the Braves, so I was over there every day and following it. And not so much anymore, but, I still pay attention a little bit. But some of the rule changes, I think the biggest thing I've noticed is that it really has accomplished, I think, what they were trying to do, and that was cut down some of the game times. Games were dragging a little bit. They were getting up there in the 3.5 hour long games, sometimes longer. And, that got to be a little bit of a drag, I think, and now they're moving right along.
Mark, maybe I'm wrong, but when you played, it was more of a 2.5 hour game, right? There wasn't every pitch you stepped out of the box, walked halfway down the third, adjusted your gloves, knocked the dirt off your spikes. It was you took a pitch, you kept a foot in the box, and then you stayed in there waiting for the next pitch.
Exactly, and I think that's a good part that they sped up a little bit of the game. The in-between stuff. A guy throws a pitch, then they're walking around the mound. They're thinking a lot, and I think even coaches and players will tell you that you start thinking too much. It's going to hurt you. Not only is the game going to drag, but I think you're just going to get too many thoughts inside your head. So I think they've done a good job of that and kept more action going. But I'm trying to think of some of the other things. The bases are bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but I think the time in between pitches is a good thing.
It does seem it is. There was a game the other night, and I don't know, it's been going on for 2.5 hours or so. And I'm thinking, by last year's standards, I'm going to go out in the screen room and turn the game on. It's got to be like the 7th inning, and there's another hour left in this game. And the game was over. It was already in the postgame show. So it is working. It is for the most part, speeding up the game.
Yeah, it is working. No doubt about it. No question about it. And I think it's a good thing.
I hear a lot of people. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I hear people say, my wife's never going to watch baseball. She's not a baseball fan. You can speed up the game. You can make it 20 minutes long. She's never going to sit down and watch. And I think the real issue is the younger generation creating a sport that they want to be interested in and want to follow and watch and, idolize the superstars and on, as opposed to this game where, frankly, I hate to say it, we've said it, but it's guys standing around, looking into the stands, wiping the sweat off their hand.
Yeah.
Get in there and play some baseball, for crying out loud.
Yeah, and you consider around the stadiums, too. There's so much going on, so much activity during a game that you say, well, why do you need to keep the fans entertained all the time? Because there is too much standing around. And you go to places like Boston, the older stadiums, that's one thing they have at the ballpark, a baseball game. That's all you got. You don't really have a whole lot of extracurricular stuff going on, and now the new stadiums, they got slides and all kinds of stuff. Anything other than a game going on. And I think they get the news.
Yeah.
They can get it all instant,
Yeah.
And if they miss a play, somebody goes to their phone and they watch the highlight, the replay of it. And it's a little bit different.
It really is. I mean, you see some of these, you can go to a stadium, get into a hot tub or a pool and watch a baseball game. That is unbelievable. But listen, it's working. It's bringing people out to the game, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what they're trying to do is just grow the game a little bit.
Yeah. I have Bill, I believe in New Hartford, who has a question for you. Bill, you're on with Mark Lemke.
Okay, hello. going, Mark. I just wanted to know who were some of the toughest pitchers you ever faced in the major leagues. Thank you.
All right, Mark.
Well, all of them. They were all pretty tough. But, I mean, if I had to pick a couple that I faced, I would have to go with, Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, guys like that. And Randy and Pedro were around our spring training camp all the time. So you got to face them at times that, really weren't scheduled during the season. Those didn't even count. And it's like, geez, here we go out at 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and you look out and there's Randy Johnson on the mound for the Montreal Expos.
Wow.
And, but they all were tough. They all were tough, and but it's a challenge.
Yeah. What do you think of DeGrom? It almost seems like as we just learned last night that he was pitching a no-hitter through 4 innings and then left the game injured, which is exactly why he's no longer in New York. But probably for 4 innings, he may be the best pitcher in baseball. But after that, it just seems everything is so specialized today. The game has changed so much.
It has, and I think that was another thing. I think they would like to have changed. They haven't really done it, but it's seeing the starting pitchers go a little bit deeper in the games. I know that was one of the things that would speed things up. Obviously, if you had a starting pitcher go 7 or 8 innings, you only brought in 1 reliever. That would obviously quicken things up a little bit. And now, I mean, they've done a good job with the bullpens, but there was a moment in the game where, man, it was like every other batter they were changing a pitcher.
Yeah.
Lefty, righty, and it just got to be too much, I think.
Well, you have the analytics telling you what to do all of a sudden, and that really probably changed the game more than anything else.
Yeah, the computer kind of dictates what's going on. They spit out the lineups because of all the matchups. It's crazy sometimes because you can have a guy who's real hot versus a pitcher, but then you can look at it a couple of different ways. If a guy's gotten a hit off a guy, well, then I used to look at it like there's probably a good chance he's not gonna.
Right.
Because odds aren't working in his favor. And sometimes the scariest guys would be the guys that never gotten a hit off a certain pitcher. They're like, oh, well, odds are pretty much he'll probably drop one in here.
Yeah.
We're
speaking with Mark Lemke, of course. Grew up in Whitesboro, played for Notre Dame of Utica, and went on to play for the Atlanta Braves. I do have to say, back when you were playing, I was doing a rock morning radio show up here with I think Brad Davies went to Whitesboro High School, younger than you. But we went down to Atlanta to follow you and try to get an interview. We chased you out of the stadium. You were driving in a convertible. We're honking our horn, and you lost us. Just want to apologize. We ended up that weekend. We ended up actually up in Cobb County, where I spent a night in jail. It was quite a weekend for us, Mark.
No, don't say that. that's where they're at now in Cobb County.
It is, boy, I got to tell you, it could be. You could go there for life. But listen, you have family, friends still back here in the Utica area.
Oh yeah. I get back there not as often as I like, but a little more often now that I'm not doing anything. And so I spend a little time back home, hopefully coming up this summer for the Hall of Fame inductions. I'll be looking forward to that.
Excellent.
And another teammate going in the Hall of Fame, Fred McGriff.
Yeah, the crime dog, yeah.
The crime dog.
What you guys won the series in '95. Why was that Braves team so dominant for the whole decade? What was the consistency? What was the key to it?
Well, I think the key back then was the pitching. We had the starting pitching.
Yeah.
And those guys never got hurt. I mean, you mentioned with DeGrom and the injuries, you can watch him pitch and watch him throw, and you say, this guy is unbelievable. But to go to the post every single night and do it consistently like our guys did, I mean, the top three, Greg Maddox, Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, everybody looks at. But there were other guys around there, too, as well. You had Steve Avery, Pete Smith. We had some guys that go along with him, Kent Merker. A lot of guys, just the list keeps going on and on. And I think that's what you got to have in baseball. Whenever you look at a team that struggles, you just look at their starting rotation, their pitching, and that's usually what will carry you through. It's a long year. It's a long year.
Yeah, it is.
62 games.
Yeah.
Let me just squeeze in one more. This comes from, speaking of pitching, somebody who went to Sacred Heart with you. Dan wants to know, were you a knuckleball pitcher after your career ended? I don't know where that comes from, but did you? What is that?
Well, I just I went and did some things, and that was one of the things I kind of messed around with. I had a good time in New Jersey. It was in New Jersey, but that wasn't really anything that big of a deal. But, I kind of always wanted to do that and got that kind of out of the system. So it was fun.
You were a AAA pitcher who was throwing the
No. I was in the independent league.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I just go ahead. I just wanted to mess around with it a little bit.
I imagine it's to be able to play the game that you love, the game of baseball, as your career that actually drives you for the rest of your life. It's got to be a pretty, you got to at some point pinch yourself and say, I can't believe this is real.
Yeah, you grow up and you want to do it, but when you do it on the professional level versus when you're growing up in your childhood, it's a little bit different. When you're a kid growing up, you're playing, one inning you might play first base, and the next inning you might play shortstop or the outfield. Then you come in and pitch for 2 innings.
Yeah.
When you get into professional baseball, you're specialized. When I first signed, I had aspirations of playing shortstop, but right away I went to second base, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was the only position. Basically, I played third base a little bit. Played quite a bit, quite a bit in the minor leagues and in the major leagues too as well. But it wasn't like, hey, coach, I want to play third today, or I want, you have
right.
It's a specialty. It's a job, and you're relied upon. Versus when you're a kid, you throw the gloves out there, and
right.
You might play over here, you might pitch one day, and that's where you really, to me, you grew up loving the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you play all different parts of it, but it becomes a responsibility, and a big one too when you're at the professional level.
And I'm assuming not only a big responsibility, but it's not going to last forever. So the pressure is on to be able to stay in the game, stay in the starting lineup.
It's on all the time.
Yeah,
it's nonstop, and there's always somebody coming after you, and they're always looking to replace you.
Right.
There's always somebody breathing down your neck trying to get that position, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to complain about.
Yeah, it is.
You're right. It is a day in, day out battle, and we had a few guys from the area at that time, so I was always proud of that. In the major leagues at that time, obviously Andy Van Slyke was there, Parky Cianfrocco, and then Chris Jones out of Utica too was there.
Yeah, I mean,
so I had some good friends around.
And now, who'd have thunk it? The commissioner of baseball is from Rome. Just crazy, right?
Yeah, that's right, Rob Manfred. Yeah.
And then I have one more. Wayne with a question for you, Mark. Wayne, you're on with Mark Lemke. You'll get the last question here.
I just wanted to say it's an honor to have watched you, through the years when Atlanta was on top, and they still are. And I think you're the reason why my mother she's 82 now, and she's still into baseball because of what went on with them World Series and how exciting you were to watch.
All right, Wayne. Thanks, man.
Yep.
And Mark Lemke. Wayne. Go ahead with that's Wayne. Yeah.
Thanks to Wayne. I mean, you know what I don't realize a lot, but when you come up in that area is the reach of the Braves, how they were back in those days, and I was just looking at some stuff last few days about when Ted Turner started the Superstation, and I remember coming up and they called the Braves America's team.
Yeah.
but you forgot how far out that reached. And you know, we'd go to certain cities, and it'd be almost embarrassing for the home team because there'd be more Braves fans at the game, you know, and you say to yourself, wow, how can all these Braves fans be in Texas or over here or over there? But the Superstation, TBS, really spread the Braves around.
It really did. I mean, that, you know, the Braves, especially at a time in baseball where you were lucky to be able to get the Mets and the Yankees. You'd never see the Red Sox. You just wouldn't. But the Braves were always on.
Yeah.
Always on. And you know, and I think he makes a great point. Some people now, I forget it at times, but they're still Braves fans up in the north.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Well, listen, we're big fans, Mark, and we thank you for all of what you've done in baseball, and thank you so much for coming on the radio here with us this morning.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Mark Lemke.
Thanks.
Legend Mark Lemke.
How cool is that?
That was very, very cool. All right, I got a break. It's 8:05 WIBX Utica, Rome, 8:05.
We invest in Herkimer and Oneida counties.
We work with the community to make things better for old and young alike.
Today, tomorrow, and in the years to come.
Every day, we put the community's long-term savings to work.
Who are we?
We are the Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida counties.
FoundationHOC.org.
We're your community foundation.
Working to build a vibrant region
with opportunity for all.
Honey, why are you peeking out the window and spying on the neighbors?
I can't stop watching what they're doing to their house. Look at that. They added a sunroom and put in a pool. Do you think they won the lottery?
No, not the lottery. Julie and Jeff got a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank. They're using the equity from their home to renovate.
Really?
Yes, Adirondack Bank has home equity rates as low as 3.99% annual percentage rate. You can access the equity in your home to fund almost anything.
Huh. Maybe we should call Adirondack Bank. What about a new kitchen? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the roof. Oh, and even take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about. And, of course, I need a new car.
Slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank.
Stop into your local Adirondack Bank for more information on home equity loan rates as low as 3.99% APR. Or call 877-404-2265 for credit costs and terms. Apply today at AdirondackBank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Are you considering buying an electric vehicle or a plug-in hybrid? Wouldn't it be nice to just fuel up at home with an EV charging station? Potentia is helping to make the convenience of charging easier for your home and your business. As a leader in green electrical projects, Potentia has completed hundreds of large sustainable commercial projects across New York State and are now getting into the residential market. No more stops at the gas station. Charge at home conveniently and economically. With New York State's zero emissions mandate by 2035, Potentia can help design, supply, even install residential and commercial EV charging systems at your home or your business. From permitting and design through the complete installation, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3 with a turnkey EV charging solution with various packages and options available. They guarantee your satisfaction with all their products and their workmanship. Visit Potentia at 4685 Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford. Give them a call at 315-765-6184 or view their website at POTENTIAmanagement.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hey, if you're dealing with pain and pain that just won't go away, there comes a certain point where you don't have to deal with the pain anymore. KillPain.com is the website for Omni Surgery Center and Dr. Hyder. The office is in the Utica Business Park. The surgery center is located on French Road. And we had a recent situation with my dad, and it's been ongoing. And every time we're in need to reach out to them, they are there to assist and just simply make the pain go away. When you walk in with a loved one and they can barely make it through the door, and they're able to walk out after a procedure, and the pain goes away, it's nothing short of a miracle. It's the Omni Surgery Center, Dr. Hyder, in the Utica Business Park and with the Surgery Center on French Road, where modern technology meets cutting-edge surgery. Call today and schedule an appointment. 315-765-8448. 315-765-8448. Online, the website is killpain.com. Dr. Hyder and the Omni Surgery Center, located on French Road.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
And the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is from Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Think about their amazing lattes. It's going to be cooler today and tomorrow, but we're back up in the 80s on Friday. Iced coffee in your near future, or one of their lattes, over 14 different flavors. Fresh bagels, fresh donuts every single day. The drive-thru is lightning fast. It's Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford. So schools all over the country trying to figure out a solution to this run of school shootings, soft target shootings. Up here, we're getting a lot of threats. It makes people very nervous. It's the one place you want to be able to send your kids, where you believe they will be safe,
right,
in a school setting. What they're doing in Ohio, while some might see it controversial, others are looking at it to say this is the one thing that maybe will protect our children. Jeff Manasso from Fox News on right now. Jeff, good morning. They're talking about allowing staff members to be armed.
Yeah, good morning to you. Good to be with you. So the River Valley School District, it's in rural Marion County in Ohio, and it joins 22 other school districts in that state that allows the permitting process and approval of staff members to carry weapons on campus. The school superintendent, Adam Wickham, is saying that the most active shooter events take place in so-called gun-free zones with minimal safety measures in place. He says that district's schools will no longer be soft targets and unprotected. So they're doing this. This follows, it comes after Governor Mike DeWine last year signed House Bill 99, which allows school districts across the state to authorize teachers and other staff members to carry guns in classrooms with training.
How do you, has the problem, I'm sure there have been a lot of people who have come up with potential problems with this. If police are storming the building, how do you tell the difference between the good guys and the bad guys?
Well, that's one of the things when you go to concealed carry classes, one of the things that they'll tell you, and one of the things that I would assume that they're going to do in mandatory training in Ohio is that, if there's an active shooter, you've got a gun, you got to be careful because they might think that you are the active shooter.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So they require 24 hours of training in the state of Ohio, but this school district is going to double that, 50 hours of training. The governor has also outlined several other school safety measures that, and he and lawmakers have promoted, including school safety upgrades, upgrades at colleges in terms of security. But this This is about response time. We saw the response time. Look at Uvalde, for instance. They were there. They didn't do anything for a long time. And so, this is something that is going to allow. The superintendent says that there's a rural community. Response times can often be minutes away. In the event of an active shooter, in that the use of armed staff in our building can potentially save lives by providing more immediate response to a threat. The move has been criticized by some Democrats who say it sends the wrong message in the wake of school shootings. But people seem to support it. At least that's one of the reasons why the governor approved it. And 32 states in our country now allow some sort of armed carry in our schools.
Yeah.
And so it's a growing trend amid the growing mental illness and situation that we've got in terms of school shootings across our country, that it seemed to be omnipresent these days.
Here in this area, in our county, every school has an armed police officer, former, usually a retired police officer. Every single school. And I think we have to take a look at it that way, whatever it might be. And maybe it's arming teachers. Maybe it's putting security in. One single point of entry is extremely important. But I think that we can't, no matter where you are on the issue, there's not going to be some magic wand that's going to remove everybody's guns and end this problem.
Right.
And it seems to be a horrible trend when it comes to people who are suffering from some sort of a mental illness that allows them to think it's okay to go in and shoot up innocent children. So the problem's not going to go away. We got to find a way to fortify the schools.
Yeah, and that's the message that they're sending there in Ohio. It's the message they're sending there in other states that are implementing similar policies. That look, schools aren't going to be the targets anymore.
Yeah,
you've got to harden them to protect kids, teachers, and kids. So that's what they're doing.
Jeff Manasso, hard to believe we even have to talk about it, but we appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend.
All right. Jeff Manasso from Fox News.
And I'm not saying that this is not a legitimate concern. The point that you raised about, how do you know who the good guy and the bad guy is? But there have been, and again, I do think this is a legitimate concern, but I think generally speaking, when the police arrive and they announce themselves, the good person goes, okay, and they put their gun down and they lay on the ground face down and put their hands up, where the bad person, if you will, is typically trying to shoot it out at the cops. So I'm not saying there can't be a problem that happens. I'm just saying I think generally speaking, those who are carrying the gun want to provide some level of security until the real cops show up, and then they tend to stand down.
And I don't know the answer, but I do have a fear that this isn't going away anytime soon.
Right.
And that there's no legislation that's going to end up being passed. Whether it's passed or not, you can have your opinions on what difference it would make. We're not going to go door to door and take everybody's guns. So no matter where you are on this issue of more gun restrictions, I don't see any solution anytime soon. And while we try as adults to figure this whole thing out, I would hope that the one thing we can do is make sure these kids are protected.
And not to mention...
And teachers and staff and everybody.
Absolutely. You said, let's say they did. They passed a law today that they're going to go door to door and come search your house.
All guns will be removed.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, we live in a world today you can 3D print a gun. As soon as the cops leave, you just print a new gun. So it's not It's not going away. It's not going away.
So with that said, how do you protect the students who are currently and staff that are currently in those schools? I think that's the focus. And I think what we've done in Oneida County is a really good first step, right?
Completely agree.
Meanwhile, we've become the area where swatting has become the thing, where fake accusations of calling 911 and claiming there's an active shooter is happening all over the state right now. Just makes no sense. I do not get it. A couple of comments this morning. One of the things that this is Mike, that people need to realize is just because you have a license to carry a gun does not mean you are capable of shooting another human being. There's a big difference between going to a target range and shooting at a person. I think that's very true.
Yes.
Although, when you think about what happened in Uvalde, you wish the teachers had guns inside because the police didn't come in there.
Yep.
They didn't come in to do their job. Let's see. Anne in Rome. Mark Lemke's sister was my oncologist. During the World Series, a reporter asked Mark about the stress if the game, and he said, "My sister is a doctor. That's stress." Mark and Archie were playing each other at the same time. They both were happy when the other did well. He mentioned others that played in the game. We had a pretty good run locally in Major League Baseball for a while.
Yeah, Andy Van Slyke, Archie Cianfrocco, and then Chris Jones is the one. Of course, I remember this in particular as a Mets fan because Chris Jones was a Met for a while. I believe he was born in Liverpool but played ball locally in the area, and I always thought that was a cool thing. If there's anybody we're leaving off the list, please send us a message and let us know.
All right, and then we'll get into we'll play the audio again coming up from the current superintendent who is on paid administrative leave, Bruce Karam, and take your comments on this. Take your phone calls if you want to talk about it. What do you think about it and the investigation and what's going on at the Utica School District? 315-736-0186 is our phone number. We'll come right back. It's 8:20 at WIBX.
Power Sports of Utica is holding its grand opening event on the 28th and 29th of April. We have over 350 vehicles in stock and incoming for you to see. Come celebrate with us at the store over great food, drink, and entertainment. We can't wait to see you there. It's our Power Sports of Utica grand opening, April 28th and 29th, with over 150 new and used Harley-Davidsons in our pool. 0% down, 3.99 APR on select Harleys. Grand opening discounts on boots, helmets, shirts, and apparel.
Honey, why are you peeking out the window and spying on the neighbors?
I can't stop watching what they're doing to their house. Look at that. They added a sunroom and put in a pool. Do you think they won the lottery?
No, not the lottery. Julie and Jeff got a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank. They're using the equity from their home to renovate.
Really?
Yes, Adirondack Bank has home equity rates as low as 3.99% annual percentage rate. You can access the equity in your home to fund almost anything.
Huh. Maybe we should call Adirondack Bank. What about a new kitchen? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the roof. Oh, and even take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about. And, of course, I need a new car.
Slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank.
Stop into your local Adirondack Bank for more information on home equity loan rates as low as 3.99% APR. Or call 877-404-2265 for credit costs and terms. Apply today at AdirondackBank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Refresh and renew your home this spring with Little Falls Lumber. They're fully stocked with secondary grade metal in all colors and 12-foot lengths. An affordable option for fixing utility sheds, roofs, or garages. Looking for lumber and tired of the warped pieces from the big box stores? Then go to Little Falls Lumber where they stock only premium grade lumber. Stop in to one of their 3 convenient locations: Little Falls, Syracuse, and Schenectady. Little Falls Lumber, helping you refresh and renew this spring. Call 315-823-2470 or visit littlefallslumber.com.
From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products and online shops, it's all under one new roof at Max's Print Shop in Marcy. Order anytime and any quantity in person or online at maxsprintshop.com. Since 1978, we pride ourselves on personally meeting every customer's need. We can take your project from design to production. And remember, Max's Print Shop will stitch anything. And we mean anything in the Utica-Rome area. Find us at 9555 River Road in Marcy or online at maxsprintshop.com.
Easy Cater presents We've Got Your Back, Up Singers.
Backing you up.
So I ordered Mexican for my team at work.
With vegetarian options for Jerry.
Then I'm in a meeting and I remember Jerry's vegan.
Love the cheese.
So I text Easy Cater and they reply, no prob, we got this.
Gonna fix it for ya.
Sometimes I get vegetarian and vegan confused. Kind of like Austria and Australia.
Geography is not just strong suit.
Dietary needs? Easy Cater has your back with over 100,000 restaurants. Order 24/7 on easycater.com and know.
We got your back.
For the past 25 years, the Good News Center has been committed to building relationships. Better relationships for marriage, better family relationships, and a better relationship with God while promoting self-change. Hi, this is Judy Hauk, Executive Director at the Good News Center. Our programs are designed to support you at your most challenging times. Whether it is marriage difficulties, addiction issues, suffering the loss of a loved one, or caring for someone close, we can offer you support. Or strengthen your faith journey by attending one of our spiritual renewal programs, such as a Bible study or Theology Uncorked. Our support programs are available in person or via Zoom. They are mentored by peers, cost nothing, and are confidential. For more information about all of our programs, visit us at thegoodnewscenter.org or call us at 315-735-6210. The Good News Center, building relationships for over 25 years.
From Lincoln Center Theater that brought you The King and I and South Pacific comes a sumptuous new revival of the most perfect musical of all time, My Fair Lady. The New York Times calls it thrilling, glorious, and better than it ever was. Don't miss the smashing, jubilant Lincoln Center Theater production of My Fair Lady.
Broadway Utica presents My Fair Lady, May 1st and 2nd at the Stanley Theater. For tickets, visit BroadwayUtica.org or call 315-724-4000.
Hey, and Sarah's Flooring Outlet is the area's leading flooring store for everything that is flooring. If you're looking for carpet, linoleum, if you're looking for Pergo Extreme by Mohawk, it's the best place. Only in Sarah's can offer the lowest price guarantee on Pergo Extreme. And Sarah's will beat anyone's Pergo Extreme price within a 60-mile radius of the store. If you're looking for hardwoods, that's what we had installed in our home. Craftsmanship is the only way I can describe what was done. They really did an amazing job for us. Listen, if it's flooring, you go to the experts. You go to the store that deals in one thing, flooring, and that is sale, and everybody over at Sarah's Flooring Outlet. The largest inventory in all of Central New York is right there, and it's just down the street from us at the all-new Route 49 Plaza on River Road in Marcy. And sarahsflooringoutlet.com is a website. There's a $50 off coupon there, and take advantage of 6 months interest-free financing right now. And Sarah's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy, and online at sarahsflooringoutlet.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, 826. So I'm going to play this audio one more time, and I'd like to know if you're in the city of Utica and you have, or maybe you're not in Utica, but you have an opinion on this. This goes to the fall of 2021. A superintendent, senior administrators meeting at the district offices. And so you have a room filled with, I believe, administrators and possibly others as well. During the meeting, someone wore a hidden microphone. And in that meeting, the superintendent at the time, who is really still the superintendent, just on leave, Bruce Karam, is heard speaking about a former employee. This recording is part of the investigation that the district is doing into claims by two administrators, that Karam created a hostile work environment. And I would assume that this is believed to support that claim. Here is the audio. This is tough to listen to, folks, as he's speaking about not only a former employee, but a mother of a child who had recently been murdered in the city of Utica. Here's the audio as we received it and have authenticated the audio dating back to October of 2021. And, of course, that audio is not playing for some reason. Jeff, just give me some review here, and I'll figure out why that's not playing.
Sure. So
I think I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me try it again. Okay, here's the audio.
That when she worked here, okay? And then we get rid of her. She quit because we were putting the pressure on her. Because she wasn't doing her job.
She left from Central Kitchen, so I'm not sure why.
Well, we moved her there because she was a problem.
Correct.
We had trouble with her, right?
Yes.
And then
she quit. Right?
Yeah,
she quit.
That's exactly what happened.
I think she quit from Central Kitchen.
Okay? Because we were having trouble with her here. Because she wasn't a good employee. She was a... Isn't she the one whose kid got killed by that crazy guy? Mm-hmm. Oh, they're running around writing emails? Why don't they watch their kids and who they're going out with? Okay? You know why I'm like this? Because she's the one that gets on the internet and writes all the shit. what Potter does, okay? This is supposed to be a grieving mother. F her and f her family. How about that? Okay? Now, what were you going to say?
Manansky. 315-736-0186 if you want to comment on it. Apparently there are 3 recordings, by the way. This is one of the 3. I was told yesterday by someone who is privy to the recordings that exist that this was not the worst.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. So obviously we heard in the file there. I just at the end where he says, "Okay, so and what were you going to say?" Like just move it. And it's one thing. Anyone could feel however they feel about a particular issue, but to be talking like this in a meeting, in front of other officials, I don't condone it. If that was his personal feeling and he didn't express it, I'm not saying that was everybody feels how they feel, but this is going on during a meeting, talking like this about a former student, the parent of a former student who was killed in the district. Do you want to react? You can send us a message or 315-736-0186. Now, my question is, how much of this has to do with the current investigation or investigations? Were we sent this audio as a way to make Mr. Karam look bad in the midst of an investigation, or is this central to one of the probes into how he was handling the district?
Well, I do think that, and not to be critical of the Observer-Dispatch, but I think like the story that is in the paper today just takes one side. It doesn't offer the other side. And I understand, it's the attorney, it's Bruce Karam's attorney, who's certainly going to present it. If you ever watch a trial on TV, after the defense gets done, you're like, God, this person's innocent. And then the prosecution gets done, it's like, wow, this guy's guilty.
Right.
They're presenting their case to defend their client. But this is I guess I would fear if I'm in the Karam camp, I would fear that this audio is going to come out. If this audio and the details of the investigation that are provable, there's one thing for someone to accuse you of something. There's another thing to have a piece of audio out there that kind of affirms it, right? Like this does. I would be very, very worried that audio would surface. So to me, the fact that the public gets to hear the audio, I think is important. I think the taxpayers are paying for 2 superintendents right now.
And the belief is, not the belief, but this was not during a school board meeting, which are streamed online and you can find online as well.
Right,
this was an administrative meeting?
See, I'm told it was a senior administrative meeting held at the district offices. So it wasn't a part of a school board meeting. But, the other part I think that makes this very difficult, if we were listening to the CEO or the administrator of your, I don't know, your local collision shop, and you heard the owner of the collision shop speaking that way, you're like, I still want my car fixed. This is a school district, and a very diverse school district, and in a time where I don't think that we tolerate any behavior such as this inside a school district.
No, absolutely.
In 2023,
we shouldn't. We shouldn't.
And I'm not sure that even what we just heard, was overly acceptable in 1970. To be honest with you, so. Does it support the rest of the claims? So if you believe this, you now hear the audio. You believe the rest of what's in the report. Maybe that was the reasoning for getting it out. But I would be, if I'm on the Karam team, I would have been very worried that this audio surfaces.
Yeah. Also, whoever sent us the audio, it came to us anonymously, but keep sending the audio files. If you have more, we'd love to hear it.
Because I do think the public deserves to. Wayne says, sounds like a bully, and that is exactly how it was described, right? In the investigative report, they said that it was described as bullying, how they described the behavior of Karam in the investigative report, or in that investigation and the report that came out of it.
This is from Lance. Let me just make sure this is the only one in regard to this. This is from Lance. He says, listening to Karam, I can close my eyes and picture Cardillo speaking and acting the same way. It's no wonder they are such close friends. That was a comment from Lance and Lee.
Well, and I do think this has implications beyond the school district, right? So you have Bob, who is, and we've asked Bob about this. When I asked Bob, it was before we had the audio.
Yes.
But the question was, if these allegations turn out to be true and these things were actually done, because he had said that, well, Bruce says it's not true. So this is audio. We've authenticated it. The audio is real. Just this one little moment in time, does this change the way you move forward as you're, especially in a position where you're running for mayor? Gotta wonder. We'll break and come back. You have any comments? 315-736-0186, 835 WIBX.
It's truck season. Are you in the market for a powerful, reliable truck? Check out the 2023 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab 4x4 All-Star Edition at Steve Ponte Chevrolet. With Silverado's robust engine and four-wheel drive capabilities, this truck is built to conquer anything. Right now, take advantage of some incredible incentives. You'll find new roads and save when you get 0% financing for 36 months. Or take advantage of up to $5,250 in total value savings. Is leasing more your style? Get a 3-year, 30,000-mile lease for $487 a month. See why it's always easy to do business at Steve Ponte Chevrolet in Herkimer. Stock number 23098. Purchase must have 2009 or newer Chevrolet in household. $37.50 total rebate plus $1,500 engine credit. Lease offer must have current lease in household. Mileage penalty of 25 cents per mile over 30,000 miles. Offers must qualify top tier through GM Financial. All taxes and fees due on delivery plus $1,000 in first payment due on lease. Must take delivery by 5/1/2023.
Are you considering buying an electric vehicle or a plug-in hybrid? Wouldn't it be nice to just fuel up at home with an EV charging station? Potentia is helping to make the convenience of charging easier for your home and your business. As a leader in green electrical projects, Potentia has completed hundreds of large sustainable commercial projects across New York State and are now getting into the residential market. No more stops at the gas station. Charge at home conveniently and economically. With New York State's zero emissions mandate by 2035, Potentia can help design, supply, even install residential and commercial EV charging systems at your home or your business. From permitting and design through the complete installation, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3 with a turnkey EV charging solution with various packages and options available. They guarantee your satisfaction with all their products and their workmanship. Visit Potentia at 4685 Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford. Give them a call at 315-765-6184 or view their website at potentiamanagement.com.
If you're looking for flooring, boy, do I have the perfect place for you. This is Bill Keeler, and I highly recommend Sarah's Flooring Outlet, the area's leading flooring store. They have the absolute largest inventory in Central New York, and it's a brand new store at the Route 49 Plaza in Marcy. And if you're looking for Pergo Extreme, they have a price guarantee anywhere in the area within a 60-mile radius of their store. It's a pretty awesome deal, and you know you're going to get the best deal at Insera's. Log on to their website at InserasFlooringOutlet.com and sign up to save $50 off your next purchase of $500 or more. You can shop online or in the store. You will not find a better selection than Insera's Flooring Outlet. See why more people buy from the big store. Its selection, its price, and it's a 6-month interest-free financing. Log on to the website, InserasFlooringOutlet.com, and see for yourself or visit their store. Insera's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road in Marcy.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
What if you could do business without busy work? With Ramp, you can. Ramp is the future of finance with smart automation, corporate cards, and spend management. Just imagine. No more expense reports or shuffling wrinkled receipts. No more slogging through invoices or getting surprised by unexpected charges. Just your business's big idea with smart spend controls, automation that crushes busy work, and real-time insights so you can make it happen. In other words, Ramp completely reimagined finance to make it work for your business. Get set up, issue corporate cards, and start making payments in less than 15 minutes. See how Ramp does finance. Join today and get $250 just for signing up. Just go to ramp.com/free. That's ramp.com/free to get $250 for signing up. That's ramp.com/free.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, a whole potpourri of radio content this morning. Everything from the Utica School District and Superintendent Bruce Karam to legendary local great Mark Lemke. I'm going to tell you, when we went down because of Lemke. Brad Davies and I, we went into the stadium, and we were up in the press area. It was awesome. So, but they never were able to get us the interview with Lemke. I was on a rock station. It just wasn't going to work in a sports setting, and so they let us in until we got kicked out. You know what? We got kicked out of the stadium is because we were having. In this case, it was Vince Scully and Tommy Lasorda sign our press passes. And right on the back of the press pass, as Tommy Lasorda was signing it, he said, I'm gonna sign right here on the part where it says you're not allowed to ask for autographs.
Yeah.
And then we were kicked out. And then we chased him, and we found he was leaving the stadium, and he's driving off, and we're following him, and he lost us pretty quickly.
Boy, I'll tell you.
But what an interview with Mark Lemke. It was pretty awesome.
Chasing down baseball superstars. I mean, you get arrested for doing that. Oh, you did get arrested. That's right. I forgot.
Well, that happened later in the week, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Can I share some comments here?
We have a ton of comments. Here we go.
All right. I'm going to start with, I guess I'll start with Karam. This is John in Rome. He says, with the audio, wouldn't you think Karam would be more fearful of retaliation of this woman's friends and family for what he said?
Yeah, I would be. I
Through
guess
the roof?
I
Yeah.
would. Yeah. And the other part of this is, if I knew the audio was out there, and that there's a chance that it could become public, I'm not sure. I think I would try to find a way to make the whole thing go away. Like, can't we settle this and just settle it out of the public venue?
Right.
And, if that is not the worst, as we've been told, I think I'd be in that position right now to say, let's just make this go away.
Right.
And, a lot of this has to do with what his contract says. And it has, is something like that in violation of his contract? I don't know. Having when you say something in a meeting, you really don't expect somebody to be recording it and then having it end up on in the public, on the web, and on radio.
Yeah, there's no way, though. There's no way that can be thought of as an acceptable way to talk during a meeting.
I agree. However, if you think about the setting, you have to be thinking at that point that this is going to be in this room, and that's where it stays.
Right.
You would not be thinking that somebody was recording it. And by the way, in New York State, it is legal to record a conversation like that. What's not legal is you can't on a telephone. Telephone changes everything.
Yeah.
But you can't go into your basement. And I use this example because I know somebody who did it. You can't go into your basement and hook up a device that records all the conversations that are coming in. So, if you suspect your wife's cheating on you, you can't go into the basement, hook up a device that records her and her boyfriend talking. That would be against the law.
Wait, you can't broadcast it, or you can't record it?
You can't even record it.
Really?
No.
Who are they to say who I can record if I'm paying the phone bill?
We're a one party. One party in the phone conversation must know.
Interesting. That's to even record. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought that was in order.
So if you're having the conversation with her,
yes, I can
and
record.
You can record her, and you don't have to tell her. In New York.
Okay.
But you could record her, but you can't record the two of them. Sit back and wait to see what's on the tape.
Okay. Wow, that's an interesting clarification. I never thought to do that, but if I ever should, I guess I'll be legally protected.
Joe, who's an attorney, says you have to be a party to the recording for it to be legal.
Correct. That's what you just said.
Yep.
Yeah. As long as one party knows.
Yeah.
We have comment.
Wayne says, make it go away like Trump and Stormy Daniels. That's what I would do.
Yeah. I have a comment here, as a matter of fact. This comes from Wayne. Can you please say happy birthday to a longtime listener and my best friend from grade school, Scott Neary. So happy birthday today, Scott. I have comments on other things as well if you want them.
Yep.
John asks, we talked about the AT&T story this morning. He said, Bill, since you mentioned you're with AT&T, did you receive a check from an AT&T settlement? I received one, and I'm not sure whether it's legitimate or not.
Yeah, I think I gave it to my wife. It was like $5 or $8 or something like that.
One of those class actions where the lawsuits the attorneys make off with all the money?
Or I got it and didn't realize it and threw it out. I've done that before.
That was only $8 or whatever it was.
And
then I also have some comments that are coming in here this morning from Ralph regarding the situation we talked to Jeff Manasso about from Fox News, that some schools in Ohio are allowing teachers to basically carry their firearms to school as some line of protection. Ralph says this morning that it is, I'm sorry, I'm just loading. He made a couple of comments here. Prior to every school shooting, the bad guys will be required to put on a black cowboy hat, and the armed teachers will be required to wear white hats. He's talking about the situation you mentioned, which how do you know the difference between one of the others? He says if teachers aren't allowed to let students read certain books, how can they be trusted to be armed in school? It's a BS solution to a very real problem. There are too many guns in our society.
Okay. Interesting stuff. We'll break and come back. 315-736-0186. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is now accepting new patients. The Falcon Clinic is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, which means as well as a medical approach. For instance, Dr. Shemaleski was an ER doctor for years and has now opened up the Falcon Clinic, which offers family primary care physician, specialists, acupuncture, all different opportunities that lend to the osteopathic approach to your medical needs. And it might mean that there are things you can do beyond the medicines to solve whatever ails you. Are you dealing with sleep, fatigue, pain, ADHD, or any other health issues, or are you just in need of a new family doctor? Dr. Shemaleski, Dr. Zielinski are now taking on new patients, so call them today. 315-507-4751. Online, it's falconclinic.com. 315-507-4751. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills.
Don't take chances with your brakes. Find out why Oriskany Garage is a top-rated destination for auto repair in the Utica area. Oriskany Garage delivers friendly professional service, great prices, and a commitment to never, never try to sell you something that you don't need. For brakes, tires, funny noises, warning lights, or any of your auto repair needs, come and experience award-winning service at Oriskany Garage down the street from Utica College or online at ogtire.com. Come on and say it with me and make the noise. ogtire.com.
Power Sports of Utica is holding its grand opening event on the 28th and 29th of April. We have over 350 vehicles in stock and incoming for you to see. Come celebrate with us at the store over great food, drink, and entertainment. We can't wait to see you there.
It's our Power Sports of Utica grand opening, April 28th and 29th, with over 150 new and used Harley-Davidsons in our pool. 0% down, 3.99 APR on select Harleys. Grand opening discounts on boots, helmets, shirts, and apparel.
Cliff's Local Market is proud to be your convenience store that keeps you going. We are locally owned and operated by Clifford Fuel, and we're proud to offer local products like Utica coffee with fresh brewed dark Adirondack, along with a seasonal flavor. At Cliff's, you can find Dippin' Donuts, sauce from It's a Utica Thing, and cheeses from River Rat and Grassy Cow. Cliff's Local Market has your favorite pizza made fresh all day with dough from Utica, made to order subs, wraps, and salads, and other healthy local choices. Cliff's Local Market, we keep you going.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply and the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at hnhmedicalny.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, I want to switch to something else, then we'll come back and take some more comments here. On the line right now, he's known as America's small business expert, CEO and founder of the business coaching venture capital firm Power Team International. And his name is Bill Walsh, who's on the line right now. Bill, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Great morning. Glad to be here. How are you?
Good. So I just wanted your take on this. There's a survey out right now. 56% of workers in the next 12 months plan to look for another job. Are you surprised by that?
I'm not. I think with all the changes that have taken place over the last 3 to 4 years, a lot of these young adults they have so many options. I mean, think about it. You can push a button on Uber and go get paid today.
Yeah.
And you're talking about they have now more than 1 million employees / contractors, of course. But, if you've been working from home and you're watching your kids start to grow up and now they're saying you got to come back in for 80 hours a week, they're looking for every option that's out there to be able to keep that time at home.
I also think it's very it's so competitive. And for the first time in a long time, the power lies within the employee, within the worker, right, to be able to pick and choose. And, if you play your cards right, you can go over here and get stay for 2 years. You get a $10,000 bonus. And, you get a pay increase. And then you can, a couple years down the road, collect that bonus and go somewhere else. There's a lot of opportunities to move around right now.
Sometimes that bonus is within 6 months, not even 2 years, 6 months.
Wow.
Stick around for 6 months. There's a hiring bonus because at the end of the day, it's hard to find really good, talented people that can stick around because, once again, you have so many options. And that's why there's a move to hire some of the 50-plus employees, that are out there that they don't need that second or third hustle.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt these young adults are expensive, gone through the roof.
Bill, you had asked something a while back
too.
As we were going through this where it's like there were all these openings and all these incentives and people still weren't taking the jobs. Bill, what happened to our workforce? Is everybody still in unemployment? Do people have rich parents and they just don't have to work anymore? What happened to the workforce?
I think the workforce has a lot of options. I think today it's not just your traditional workforce that always had to go to work and drive there, or take the bus or take the train. Now they can work from home.
Yeah.
And if they can work from home, and don't forget, you now have a global workforce. It's no longer just a local or regional workforce.
Right.
The company that they work for doesn't even have to be in the country.
Right. Yeah, and I do think that there is an element of younger people out there that decided, you know what, our kids are young. One of us, and it's not always the woman, one of us is going to stay home because the other one got a really good job. And maybe you don't go on as many vacations. I think there are, I don't know how large that crowd is, but I think there is a crowd out there like that.
I think some are taking more vacations, to be honest with you. I think they're taking that side hustle money that they can work from home 20, 30 hours a week, be productive, do another 20, 30 hours a week somewhere else, still have time and flexibility to be with your kids.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt they're needing two incomes just to pay the cost of living.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, we've seen, Bill, I think you're right, and I think just like the younger generation is more interested in having a loft or an apartment in a downtown setting where there's a restaurant across the street and a corner store instead of purchasing a home, I feel like the younger generation would rather have two, quote, side hustles than a 40-hour-a-week, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday type of a job because I think it provides them more freedom.
Welcome to people working in radio.
And that's the key word. If you say what's driving this younger force to pick and choose their jobs, they like the freedom aspect. And you're right. Look at, even in some of the cities where they tell you how bad things are, let me tell you, the foodie areas are booming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. He is the author of the book, The Obvious. Business strategist Bill Walsh from capital firm Power Team International. Thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
It's a different environment today.
It really is. Everything has changed. But they have these people moving around have an option to be able to pick up a really well-paying job, and in some cases, you don't have to go in. And if you want to travel back home to your to your parents' house from halfway across the country, you can do so, and you just need a room where you can spend time doing your work, at least for 4 or 5 hours a day.
And before we run out of time here, I know we've got somebody on the phone. Before I forget, 869, your win cash code for WIBX950.com. Your win cash code for the 8 a.m. hour, 869. It's your chance to win cash with WIBX.
So we played the audio earlier that was given to us anonymously. We were able to verify it over the last month and place it somewhere around October of 2021 at a senior administrators meeting at the Utica City School District. Bruce Karam, some comments were made that are certainly would be considered offensive by most. And he did mention a guy who was running for the school board around that time, Howard Potter, who is a local businessman, and Howard is on the line right now. Are your ears ringing this morning? You were mentioned during this video or this audio.
They're always ringing, Bill.
They're always ringing. So, have you heard this audio?
Yes, just recently, yes.
Okay. What do you make of it?
I think it shows everything that the public, the parents, and people have been expressing for the past 3 years and times before that, where people were just kind of dismissed, or they were made to seem like they were crazy and losing their mind, or they just didn't care about their kids or their job. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory with everything he was saying on how he felt.
Yeah. And were you receiving help from someone, from the woman that he's talking about? Were you receiving help in some of the comments that you were making online, or some of the emails that you were sending out?
Well, actually, I had help from over 50, 60 different people, whether they were people working within the districts or parents reaching out to me, saying, hey, these are the issues that we're running into. And then I would actually start researching in people to see where I would look to find information so I could help the parents or staff working there.
And has there been any time where, because you've been in the midst of all of the controversy here, is there any time that you felt like you regretted sinking everything, whether it be money and all the efforts that you and time that you put into this? Any regrets at all?
It was probably one of the tougher points in my life, because I took a lot of time from, our family business and our family to kind of spearhead a lot of the stuff that was going on. But I'm very thankful and happy that everyone's pulled together over the past year and longer to really bring to light what's been going on for years.
And the other part of this is Bruce Karam is under contract. So depending on what his contract states, the audio we just heard may not be a fireable offense. I mean, I don't know because we don't know what's in that contract.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the contract's on the state website. I think it's through the See Through New York website or something along those lines. So his contract's visible for everyone to read. But yeah, I mean, his contract was developed and I believe written. And don't quote me, I'm not 100% sure to verify, but I'm pretty sure that contract was actually written by one of our school board attorneys for him. And it's pretty tight to where you can't really do much of anything to him at any point unless there's legalities where he's actually, sued or, basically gone to jail for something, I would believe, from the way it read to me.
I just can't imagine that in the world we live in today, that the comment about the parent of a student who was murdered, that would be that's not a fireable offense. To say that in a meeting, again, you feel a certain way about something, and you say it in your basement, in your garage, you say it in your living room, that's one thing. That's at a meeting to be talking like that. I don't know what legal loopholes are in that contract, but that would be shocking to me if that's not something you can change superintendents over.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about it this way. There's highly paid, highly educated people sitting in that room listening to that. Those are our leaders that were listening to that.
Well, clearly,
and dealing with it.
Clearly, someone had a problem with it because they decided to record it.
Exactly, which I'm very thankful they did. I'm glad it's all coming to light.
Yeah. Okay. And there was another thing I was going to ask. I know that you've been critical of Bob Cardillo, and we had asked Bob if there is truth to, and we'll reach out to Bob and hopefully get him tomorrow. But if there is truth to the accusations, would you still support him? How do you respond to that? And we'll, again, reach out to Bob later today.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, I don't know how much Bob actually knew, but he did say on the radio station that he was childhood friends. So I would like to think he would know a little bit more than most people would think because they were so close. I mean, they would have to have some sort of conversation, but I don't want to put, words in his mouth by any means. But, I hope going forward, now that this tape has been aired, he sees both sides of the story.
Right.
And hopefully, steps forward and says, hey, you know what, this isn't professional, and I have the public on this one.
Howard,
not my friend.
Howard Potter, thank you. We appreciate the time.
Yes,
and
sir.
Good luck out there. Thanks.
Thank you. You too.
All right. We're done back here tomorrow morning. And as we said, we'll reach out to Bob Cardillo as well. WIBX Utica Rome. It's 9 o'clock.
Were there 2 lab leaks that caused the COVID crisis? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A Republican Senate report suggests that. GOP Senator Roger Marshall just told Fox Business they believe the first one happened months before anyone heard of the virus.
In a Wuhan laboratory, an unintentional lab leak sometime in September of 2019. The Chinese then began vaccine research, and we think that is when this epidemic, which became a pandemic, actually exploded.
The House committee is investigating COVID's origins and will hold another hearing this hour. The former director of national intelligence, John Ratcliffe, will testify. The lab leak theory is the only reasonable explanation, but China insists that's not credible, upset about today's hearing.
Officials at the Chinese embassy here in Washington sent an email to lawmakers warning them to back off, saying they're going down, quote, the wrong path.
Fox's Griff Jenkins. Jailed American journalist Evan Gershkovich will stay behind bars in Russia as he waits trial, accused of being a spy. A court denied his attempt to be released.
The 31-year-old reporter appearing resilient in that Moscow courtroom today. He was contained essentially within a pen, a glass and metal enclosure. His arms were folded for most of the time, and he did not speak.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff outside the court. U.S. Ambassador Lynn Tracy denied he's a spy, demanding Gershkovich be set free.
We also call for the immediate release of Paul Whelan.
He's in prison, already convicted of being a spy in Russia. Russia's leader went to Ukraine today. Vladimir Putin visited areas his forces have taken over during the invasion. A grand jury in Ohio has decided not to indict 8 police officers in the shooting death of a black man during a chase last year in Akron. Jalen Walker had shot at police, and they thought he reached for a gun. Fox's Gernal Scott has reaction.
Akron Mayor Daniel Horrigan says his thoughts remain with Jalen Walker's family and their loss. He said he knows some will speak out. His only ask?
That you turn towards one another and not on each other.
America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Maxwell, he was scratching and losing some hair. My vet, she says, oh, he must be allergic to chicken. Another vet said, eat the grain. Third vet said, it's the weather. Then somebody said, DINOVITE.com. It took 2 weeks, and the dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out. The Dinovite is a big part of Maxwell's diet.
You get some Dinovite, how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
From Lincoln Center Theater that brought you The King and I and South Pacific comes a sumptuous new revival of the most perfect musical of all time, My Fair Lady. The New York Times calls it thrilling, glorious, and better than it ever was. Don't miss the smashing, jubilant Lincoln Center Theater production of My Fair Lady.
Broadway Utica presents My Fair Lady, May 1st and 2nd at the Stanley Theater. For tickets, visit BroadwayUtica.org or call 315-724-4000.
If you have severe pain, there is help. I'm speaking of Dr. Hyder and the Omni Surgical Center in Utica. My father had debilitating back pain. He couldn't sleep. No way to stop the pain. Nothing worked. He received a non-surgical injection treatment from Dr. Hyder at Omni Surgical, and the pain was eliminated. I describe this as nothing short of a miracle. There is relief out there. Call the Omni Surgery Center today. Omni Surgery Center, where modern technology meets cutting-edge surgery.
Honey, why are you peeking out the window and spying on the neighbors?
I can't stop watching what they're doing to their house. Look at that. They added a sunroom and put in a pool. Do you think they won the lottery?
No, not the lottery. Julie and Jeff got a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank. They're using the equity from their home to renovate.
Really?
Yes, Adirondack Bank has home equity rates as low as 3.99% annual percentage rate. You can access the equity in your home to fund almost anything.
Huh. Maybe we should call Adirondack Bank. What about a new kitchen? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the roof. Oh, and even take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about. And, of course, I need a new car.
Slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank.
Stop into your local Adirondack Bank for more information on home equity loan rates as low as 3.99% APR. Or call 877-404-2265 for credit costs and terms. Apply today at AdirondackBank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.